going live. There we go. So I'm live now on YouTube. Should be live on Twitch as well, but I'm not too sure. Oh yeah, okay, it's gone live on Twitch as well. Alright, cool. Well, here we are. Having fun and games. So I'm going to be working on my World of Warcraft project is the word that I'm looking for there. So the idea behind this project is to essentially take AzerothCore, take the 335A client, and effectively not do any client-side changes at all, and just sort of work with the back-end side of it, so that we can pull things out of dungeons, make professions more relevant and things like that. I do have a blog post on this that I'll push out. I have actually pushed out. It's on Substack, but for now I'm actually just more interested in whether or not people can hear me okay. So I mainly communicate via Discord. So if you are watching on YouTube or Twitch, I'll try and keep an eye on the chats and things. However, it's highly unlikely I'm going to see it. In fact, I think the chat is disabled. Is the chat disabled on the YouTube one? What if I edit it? Can I enable it? Let's have a look. Promote promotion. I think I disabled the chat. Comments are on, but I think that's for the end video. The end. Alright, this isn't very interesting for you. Alright, let me get cracking. Hopefully there's a few people watching. Hopefully you'll get some value out of this. So what we're looking at here is the AzerothCore Ansible setup, but I don't know what level people are at with regards to, you know, I don't know where they are in the sort of journey with playing around with AzerothCore, setting up servers, etc. And so it's very difficult for me to know whether I should start at the very beginning and stand up a AzerothCore server from scratch for you and show you how to do that on Linux. I can go into proxmox. I can go into, if I go here, we can see I've got a proxmox server up and running here. I've been using this for a very, very long time, been doing all kinds of projects on it. I've got a media server that I run on here, and I've got obviously got a WoW server at this point in time as well. That's up and running. But do you want me to go ahead and actually create one from scratch? Because I mean, I can do that, right? I can jump in, I can create from scratch, and I can Ubuntu, Linux, etc. And we can set it up from scratch. Let me just check the Discord real quick, because what's this here? People jumping in. Okay, cool, great. It's hard to say. What should I do? It's going to be not much in the chat going on. Again, unfortunately, I can't really see. If you're watching via YouTube and you want to just help me out, if you want to just jump onto the Discord server, there should be a link in the description of the live stream. That would be really, really great. However, that being said, I'm going to have to assume that people just simply aren't. I've never created a server before, so I did call the stream creating a World of Warcraft server. So, but I won't use the Ansible. I'll go from scratch. Okay. Let's go from scratch. So I've got a proxmox server. I'm using 8.2.2. I use the free version, as you can see very clearly. I don't have a enterprise license for proxmox, because the free version is pretty damn awesome. So let's go ahead and create a virtual machine, and let's get started. So let's go VM 101. I'm going to go with 503, and I'm going to call it WoW example. So hopefully the audio is coming through for everyone, and hopefully they can hear me okay. Again, unfortunately, I don't have anyone confirming or denying that. I could probably check on the phone, couldn't I? Check on the phone. Alright, that's fine. Audio good in YouTube and Discord. Oh, nice one. Thank you. Really, really appreciate that. I can't see your name because it's oh, there we go. Ember Wind. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Start a boot. Okay, cool. So let's go with we won't start a boot because I'm going to delete it after this. So I'm going to pick a few ISOs here. I'm going to go with Ubuntu 24.04. That's the version of Ubuntu that I support via my Ansible playbook. That's the version that I support via my Ansible playbook. I really like Ubuntu. It just sort of gets the job done. I don't really, never really tried. We use CentOS and Rel in work a lot, and yeah, it's okay, I guess, but not amazing. I'm going to give this a pretty fat disk, although I actually don't know how much space I have left on this because it's a dev box. That's fine. I will give it 4 cores. That's the maximum in the system. And I'm going to give you need at least 16 gig of RAM for AzerothCore. There's 2 different ways in which you can essentially run it. You can run AzerothCore with very low amounts of memory, and it doesn't quite load my understanding anyway, is that it doesn't quite load all of the maps and things into RAM straight up front. Or at least I think it tries to straight up front, and if it doesn't have enough RAM, it will effectively, as players move around, it will load them as it needs them in order to calculate whether the players can or cannot go where they're trying to go. That being said, I prefer to just load everything into RAM straight away. This means that you do need a chunkier system. You do need that sort of 16 gig of RAM. What is that from a maths perspective? Whatever. I'll just do 16,000. 16,384. Oh, nice one, mate. Thank you. Can never remember the exact number. So 16,384 is 1024 times 16, essentially. So yeah, thanks, Amberwind. So we'll go next on there. Standard networking. So we're just going to bridge to the physical NIC, and then that will bridge the effectively any traffic on the virtual NIC that goes into the virtual machine will be bridged against the physical NIC inside the box itself, which is down here. I was actually thinking of getting. I've got a second webcam. I was actually going to get another webcam that just sort of looks down at the box. It'd just be silly, but you get to see the server just sitting there being a server. All right, so we're just going to confirm 4 core, 16 gig of RAM. Wow, example. Everything else pretty much in default. All right, so let's finish that. And then we should see this pop up here. Yeah, it should create fairly quickly. And then what we'll do is we'll go into the console and we'll do start now. Then we'll fire up. So now we will just have to quickly go through the Ubuntu setup as well. So we'll do that. It's not too bad. It's pretty quick. How are you, Emma-Wind? You good? Thanks for joining me today. See people popping in and out on the Discord. Apparently we've got a few viewers on the YouTube as well. That's quite nice. Don't know if we've got any on Twitch. I find Twitch is very, very difficult to get viewers on. Very, very difficult indeed. Activity feed. It's very quiet. Twitch is telling me it's very quiet in here. Yeah, I can imagine. Does anyone even use Twitch anymore? Alright, here we go. English, doing good. You should try making proxmox templates from Ubuntu Cloud Init images. Yeah, I find Cloud Init to be a little confusing. I find it very overly complicated. But that being said, I'm going to continue without the updater because I just need a base install. I always go with Ubuntu Server Minimize as well. I like to start from a minimized base and build up on top of it versus just having everything and then stripping down what I don't want. Because really, when it comes to systems engineering, especially in production environments, if you go the other way and you actually build a very complex system with everything installed, you actually won't go out of your way to strip it down to be minimized and down to what you want. People tend to be quite lazy, and it's very, very hard to actually do that. And actually, Emberwind does say they're doing. You should try making proxmox templates from Ubuntu Cloud Init images. That's a good point. Like, if you make your own templates, you can obviously strip them right down, add in what you exactly need, and then you can use Cloud Init to bootstrap the image when it comes up. Most organizations don't do that. Most people don't do that unless the organization's really big. Our clients will tend to just give us. We have our own software that we go in and install for them, manage for them, and they tend to just give us sort of standard VMs with standard operating systems on, but that's their choice. With Cloud Init, I found it really confusing. I found I had to add additional disks to it to get it to boot and things. I actually find it much easier to have the virtual machine come up, get an IP from DHCP, and then just bootstrap it with Ansible, to be perfectly honest with you. And I don't do it enough. You're right though, but I just don't do it enough. I mean, another option is also Ansible and Packer for creating templates, and there's actually a really good Terraform provider for proxmox as well, which I've actually used. If you look at on the left here, you can see all of these Nano 1s and Nano 2s, and that's a project I'm doing for a school, a friend of mine who works at a school, and they're all managed by Terraform for quickly standing up labs for students. So you go in with a physical system, it's got proxmox on it, lots of RAM, and then the students can connect to those virtual machines. Let's have a look. Very quiet on there. So we got our IP 0.35. Oops, that's fine. 0.35 is fine. Generally, that won't change on my network. It's very, 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 very quiet network. I would suggest setting a static IP though, if you're in a situation where you might find that the IP might change. Very unlikely though. Or you can wait for the DHCP to assign it, and depending on your routing situation at home, you can then make that. You can make it static. You can make that IP address static by going into your router, and effectively, usually they have an option to make static based on the MAC address of the NIC. We're not going to be using encryption because that's mental. Something I really dislike, and this is where Emberwind's cloud in images would come in handy, is I've given the virtual machine a 64 gig image, but when it creates the LVM volume, it effectively sets it to half the size. Always, it's always half. It's never sort of like just 30 gig. It's always this half. Or is it always 30 gig? Actually, now that I think about it, I think it might always be 30 gig. It's pretty annoying. I just sort of think just use all the space. It's like, oh, hang on, that's wrong. Is it 61? Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. Is that what it was saying? That it actually rounded it up. Oh, that was nice. Whereas I just wanted to use all of it. I think it's just trying to reserve some space in case, basically, the shit hits the fan. Basically, I think that's what they're trying to do. If you run out of space, you can expand that LVM volume, grow the underlying file system, and just keep going without having to attach additional disks, which would obviously be quite difficult on a physical server. So yeah, it's a destructive action. That's absolutely fine. So I'm just going to go with my usual crap that I come out with. Let's go. Superman. Bad password. That's what I use for all my temp virtual machines that I don't intend on keeping. Ubuntu Pro. Ubuntu. Has anyone ever used Ubuntu Pro? I feel like Ubuntu Pro would be pretty cool. Pretty cool to have, but I don't think I've ever used it myself personally. Install open system. I'm just going to allow password authentication. We're going to be done. We're going to skip anything along those lines. We don't need K8s or anything like that. And then we're going to install the system. Yeah, I looked at Cloud Init images and I found them to be just a little confusing. It could just be me being an idiot, but effectively, I found it that you had to create a VM and then you have to create like an additional disk that's of a certain type that contains the Cloud Init configuration. I can't remember. I looked into it briefly and I was sort of a bit like, oh, that seems really, really overcomplicated. What I was intending on doing was creating a base Ubuntu template on the minimum one with some base config, and then installing Ansible and having it reach out to the proxmox API to get its ID, and then just reach out to a playbook and run a particular playbook based on its ID. So you can just use Ansible pull. You can run Ansible in pull mode, so that instead of running Ansible and it pushes, you can run it on the system and it pulls down a Git repository and runs what's in there. I was going to do it that way. Cloud Init takes a bit of getting used to, but I just scripted the process. Was more just the point of using a canned template from the distro to speed up the initial deployment. Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's really cool. Have you did you share? Have you put those what's a majiggies scripts on GitHub or anything? Or I can check them out. I can give them a try. I can give them a try, mate. Alright, here we go. So that's done. So it doesn't actually take that long to install. That's why I don't really mind doing it manually, to be honest, because it just sort of... Plus as well, I find that if I do it manually... Now, that's a bit of a dumb. I was going to say, I get to sort of experience the installation process when it changes and updates, but it doesn't really change and update that much unless you sort of jump in entire sort of major versions. Right, where is that previous console 2? Right, yeah. So here's my WoW client. Hopefully that's nice and clear. Let me have a look at the. Yeah, you should be able to read that, right? That's the WoW client. Shouldn't have any issues reading that, I don't think. Let me just go back to make sure that's up and nice and visible. Alright, so we should be able to now SSH to Superman at 192.168.89. I believe it's 35, was it? Yeah, it was. Okay, and then we've got our really bad password, which is literally bad password. And then I'm going to do a sudo update, sudo apt update, and then I'm going to do an upgrade as well. I'm pretty certain it pulled the latest packages, but I always like to just check. I like to just check. Where's the... oh, there it is. Silly. Not on GitHub, but I'll see if I can dig them up. We switched my home lab from proxmox to Talos Linux a bit because I was bored one night and wanted to go all in on Kubernetes. Yeah, cool. Nice. Talos Linux, so I assume that that's like a sort of container first operating system that's backed by Kubernetes under the hood, or is it like is it Minikube, or is it some sort of like Kate or K3 or whatever they call it these days? What if you crazy kids call it? I've not touched Kubernetes. Oh, there is actually quite a few updates. I've not touched Kubernetes for quite a while actually. It's unfortunate. I sort of like Kubernetes, but at the same time, a part of me just thinks that for the most part, it actually does greatly overcomplicate things, which is a shame. I mean, overcomplicates things in a lot of situations. I was what I say. Most of the customers that we deal with really don't use it. Although we do containerize and we do install our software via Docker and Docker Compose. They really don't need a cluster for what we do. Okay, I'm gonna do a reboot because that was quite a bit. Okay, I'm gonna also spell reboot correctly. Boom. All right. So let's wait for that. Give it a few secondy doodads there. Okay, we go in. Yeah, it's back up now. Boot's really nice and fast. So we've got a Superman user on our base system. So how do we install AzerothCore, an AzerothCore server? So we're going to go over to AzerothCore, spelled terribly, and we're going to go to the installation guide there, and we're going to go through the instructions now. I will warn you, the AzerothCore documentation does leave a lot to be desired. I'm also aware that I may be in the way from a camera perspective there, but excuse me. Let me make sure that if I'm in the way, just let me know, and I can just shrink that camera window down there. Alright, installation instructions. The documentation does leave a lot to be desired. It's a bit gnarly, and I really wish they hadn't gone with this Git wiki thing, because I did try to contribute recently. I'm still waiting for that to go live, but it is a difficult system to work with. Alright, so they have various different ways in which you can do it. They have the recommended way. They actually have a Docker setup as well. To me, that just boggles the mind. I think this comes back to this complexity of picking the right tool for the job. And this isn't me having a go at you, Ember Window. By the way, I know I'm just all of a sudden, you've mentioned Kubernetes, and all of a sudden I'm just like slapping Docker all over the place and taking Kubernetes and just like elbowing it in the face. No, not at all. It's just the right tool for the right job, and you were playing around and experimenting because you were bored, and I think that's awesome. I think playing around with tech is awesome. But briefly, I think it is mental to me that anyone would choose to run AzerothCore in Docker, given that it's written in C++. And it is very easy to compile for any of these platforms, and so you can actually just run an executable on your local system and it sort of up and runs. Now, don't get me wrong, I do get it. You can just sort of do Docker Compose and you can get one image, one container with MySQL in it, one with AzerothCore in it, etc. But the reason you would want to install it from source is A, is to learn how to do that, and B, you're probably going to want to install modules, and you can't install modules without recompiling. So the Docker container can certainly help with that. I think the Docker installation has the option of internally inside of the container recompiling, but I just feel as though it's sort of like the same thing with extra steps. And I think if you're going to go as far as setting up an AzerothCore server, then you probably should just learn how to compile software. That's just my opinion anyway. I could donate to you for these feelings about containers and Kate, because they've become a religion at my work, hence I need to keep myself familiar. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think if it's your day job, then at the end of the day, like I said, it's a tool, right? So if you're using it, so one of the guys on the other admin of this Discord server Ninja. I think he works in a team of, in fact, I will find the previous chat. He works on a scale that is pretty utterly mental. So basically, they have 3 people. 3 people are managing hundreds at this point. Largest cluster is a few hundred nodes. So they've got, which is in the hundreds at this point. I think the largest cluster is a few hundred nodes. It's less about the big tender. Yeah, so they've got a team of 3, and they're managing quite a few clusters. Some of them with hundreds of nodes in, most of them around 10 to 15 nodes. A team of 3. So that's pretty good. I mean, that goes to show you how you are able to really scale a small team up to deploy. But at the same time, it's also really complicated, and if things go wrong, it really goes wrong. Anyway, let's go back to the installation, because I'm sure people are watching this going, all of a sudden it's become the Kubernetes show. So with the classic installation, which is the source installation, we go through various stages. So let's click on the requirements first to make sure that we have those. And as you can see, they've covered all of the major platforms that you would want to cover. So Linux requirements, obviously Ubuntu is Linux, and it gives us an idea of what we need. Now, this is why I picked Ubuntu originally. There's Debian as an option as well, but there's also Ubuntu. Essentially, you get given the commands to run. And running on Linux, because Windows is an option, obviously, and it's actually a very popular one. A lot of people run it on their desktop. It is way easier to install it and run it on Linux than it is on Windows. Maybe I'll do another stream if people are interested, and I will install it on Windows, and I promise you the difference is pretty contrasting. It's pretty gnarly, the amount of work required to get it going on Windows. Alright, after this operation it will use 2 gig of disk space. Oh my god, oh no. And it will download 345 megabyte of archives. It's downloading quite a lot, specifically sort of MySQL is really the big one there. But it's also getting GCC, G++, CLang, it's getting all the libraries for it to connect to things, and so on and so forth. So it's effectively it's downloading and building out an entire local compilation, a stack that allows it to be compiled, essentially. So, Emberwind, have you ever set up AzerothCore? Did you come in via the WoW private server, or did you just see the notice here on the event notice here on Discord? Or interested to know how people get here. YouTube's popping off. It's quite good. 13 concurrent users at the moment. Again, if you are on YouTube or Twitch and you're watching, and you're in the chat, I'm probably not going to see it. I do apologize. It's very difficult to manage. Apparently, there's only one viewer in Twitch, and it's probably me. Watching myself via the dashboard. I followed you on YouTube for a bit. I think my first video was on this topic. Oh, awesome. Thanks, mate. Cool. I can't see a chat at all. What does that do? Pop out dashboard. Oh, what does that do? Okay. That's live. I'm really just interested to know whether there is actually a chat on YouTube. I'm pretty certain. Edit title and description. I'm pretty certain that I disabled the chat because I knew that I just wouldn't be able to actually integrate with it, but that's okay. I'm sure it's fine. Let's go here. I need to keep that open. So not seeing any chat on my actually. Yeah, thanks, mate. I'm pretty certain I disabled it because I wouldn't be able to give it the attention that it deserves. As you can see, I'm clearly constantly. There is a chat I'm watching on YouTube, though. Not sure how you would do it. Oh, thanks, Blinky. Let's have a look. Enable star. Okay, maybe there is a chat then. Okay, I don't seem to be able to see it. I do apologise. Again, I've not got any way of actually viewing it in here because it's my first time. What if I do a pop-out dashboard? What does that do? I'm more than happy for you to see what I'm seeing. 14 viewers. That's all I get. I don't get anything else. Right, I'll close that. Anyway, let's go back to the thingy. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll work it out for a future one. So we've got our requirements in place, Debian, blah, blah, blah. And then we need to, that's for Debian, that's all for Debian. So now we move on to the core installation, step 2. Essentially, this is actually installing AzerothCore itself. So we've got the requirements. That's it. That's all you do on Windows. Like I said, if people are interested, I'm more than happy to do a stream with Windows, installing on Windows, and you'll see a very stark difference between installing on Linux and installing on Windows. Windows is much more difficult. You've got to install a lot more software. It's much more persnickety, and just that's not even a word. I think I just made that up. It's like a word my mother-in-law would say. It's just harder. It's just a pain in the backside. All right. So the following steps to install AzerothCore at home AzerothCore. This will be the home directory. The path can be changed like to the user. Azeroth user will be used in some examples as well. Again, this can be changed to whatever is desired. Amazing. Okay. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to clone the code itself. Now you'll notice that they're doing a single branch. There's a reason for that. You can also clone only the master full history, smaller size, yeah, because this one, I was going to say one of them should be small enough. That's full history. That should be the smallest one, yeah, because it's only getting a depth of 1, so it's only getting the latest commit. So that's interesting. Carwin Nelson, welcome. Is typing. That's weird. I don't see you in the audience. Strange. So we'll go ahead and clone it. We'll go with this one. It's the recommended one. I can't remember which one I pull in my Ansible playbook, but we'll go with this one. So this is going to end up at home AzerothCore. It's using the home environment variable, which means it'll go to Superman's home /Superman, and yeah, we'll end up with the code. As you can see, it's quite chunky. Like we're getting at like 20 megabytes per second here, but only at 9%. Is a sysadmin a thing these days, or is that just DevOps? I'm a software dev doing most of the infra work at my current contract. I would much prefer it if an actual sysadmin was doing the bulk of it. That's quite an interesting comment, actually, Carwin, because I agree. I wish that there were more systems administrators doing the actual ops work versus the developers. I don't think developers are... I think developers are capable of learning and doing it, but you're right, yeah, there is a very clear delineation between those responsibilities, because the ops work and systems work, etc., is actually quite complicated, and as a developer, your job is already hard enough as it is, and it's okay to be good at one thing. I've never understood this thing where we have, tons of people who are learning to do everything at once, the quote-unquote full-stack engineer. I've never really understood that. Like, just be good at one side of the field, and just make sure you're aware of what's going on elsewhere, so you can pivot if you need to. So, excuse me. I would say they are. I'd say systems admin. Yeah, you've sort of got your DevOps. I don't know. I've always stuck with systems administrator and systems engineer. They're the two jobs I just stick with, and software developer, software engineer is what I prefer, actually. Mainly because I'm a bit old school. I'm a grumpy bum. I'm a bit old school, but there's always an operating system somewhere. There's always a network stack somewhere, even in cloud. And you've got to know networking, and you've got to know operating systems to manage those two things. But yeah, from an ops side of things, I agree. Most of the times, the developers have ran a POC. They just spin up a bit of a non-hardened system and run everything as root, exactly. And this is one of the reasons why I'm not really a massive fan of Docker, mainly because people don't build the containers correctly. Docker as a tool is fantastic, but people don't build the containers correctly. They put it on the hub, and then people just adapt it. They just adapt it immediately. Adopt it, I should say, sorry. And they just run with it, but they've never really sort of done any sort of analysis as to whether or not the thing is actually hardened. Like, is the actual container itself built properly? As they scanned it for CVEs, what version of the operating system is it? Are they using best practices? Are they doing the research? It's like people who set up systemd unit files, ideally just running it as is, like just taking a bare minimum systemd unit file and getting it running isn't necessarily the best way of doing it. I would suggest going and looking at hardening a systemd unit file, because there is so much stuff you can do to wrap just a straight process. If you're just running a binary, there's so much you can do in there to really lock it down. You can give it a temporary UID, a temporary GID. You can give it a temporary temp directory. You can lock it out of the file system. You can do all kinds on the networking front. Then there's end containers, I think they're called. So systemd actually has its own type of containerization built in, which can run the process inside of a container. It's extremely powerful. I used to hate systemd, but it's extremely powerful. And so that's why I don't go to containers and things like Kubernetes like straight away. I always think, how do I just use systemd to run this thing? Let's have a look here. So now we've got AzerothCore. We've actually got the code base down here. Hopefully that's pretty clear to read. I've made the text nice and big. I am aware that it could be too big. Oh, they've got a Nix file in here. It's been a while since I've looked at anything to do with Nix. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, alright, outputs. Ooh, alright, cool. Native build, oh, that's pretty cool. For the Nix OS. That's pretty cool. Okay, so we've now, let's go back. Let's go back to our core installation. So we've gone ahead and we've got the source code now, and now we've got to compile the source code. I think I'm going to like your Discord. Good chat here. Thanks, mate. Yeah, no, well, I appreciate you being here and being a driver of questions, because you know, if people are here asking stuff, then you know, I'll talk about stuff and I'll answer those questions as best as I can. So I really do appreciate you being here. I found it pushes us towards using cloud servers like ECS, Fargate. Yeah, that's right. Those are useful and all, but that limits the amount of hardware power we can get for our money, and I don't have the time to harden containers. No, precisely. That's sort of my point. If we had a full-time sysadmin, we could use dedicated servers and get more money, get more for our money. Yeah, it's very true, and it's difficult because from a business perspective, you sort of have to. It's like this yin yang thing where you sort of go, well, we've only got so much money, so why don't we start at the very top of the sort of abstraction options, which is serverless and like platform as a service, and then you work your way down to like infrastructure as a service, dedicated hardware, depending on what you can afford and the availability of labor and skill that you have. And so it makes it very difficult for businesses to make a decision on that front, because you've only got so much money, you've only got so much capital, and as you've pointed out, you don't have time to harden the containers and the network. And they're really important things to do. If you're building your own containers and not hardening them, then it probably only takes like 6 to 9 months before a CVE pops up and you've actually got an outdated container, and now there's a potential security risk, and then another 3 months and there's another one, and then all of a sudden you've got a really stale operating system running inside of that container, and it's hard to stay on top of that. I mean, how do you what you do if you're just constantly under the pump and you don't have a full-time sysadmin? So yeah, I empathize with you. I know what it's like. It's pretty rough. All right, so we're gonna go to AzerothCore. Okay, we're gonna go in. We're gonna go. This is the build there. So the build there is where essentially it gets compiled to. So when you compile something in C++, C, Rust, Go, generally you have a build directory, and that's where the end results of the compilation get put into. They get put in there. So the assets, if you like, so generally binary files and anything else that's necessary for the application to run. So on a Windows stack, that might be things like dynamic link libraries like DLLs and things like that. Blink says systems are just getting too complex, but don't know if there's a good solution these days. It's a good question. It's a good point. Yeah, I don't know if there's a good solution. That's the thing where Kubernetes comes in. I think it tries to standardize it, but I don't know. I think it makes it very complicated, very limiting. Everyone seems to have fun with Kubernetes, and then I always come across customers. It's actually an interesting thing here in where I live in Brisbane. We had a big uptake of Kubernetes, and then all of a sudden it took about 3 years before I started seeing contracts coming through to take some of those same companies off Kubernetes. Because we're focusing on AzerothCore, I'm gonna continue. I'll keep dipping in and out as I'm doing, guys. So definitely keep those thoughts and questions coming through. But I'm gonna stay focused, because I could really go off on one with regards to things like Kubernetes and stuff. Trust me, I could really just go for it. All right, so we're gonna use this CMake. So okay, so at this point in your home Azure build directory, the following command variables use the home is the path of the current user. If you are logged in as root, home will be root. So we're okay, because we're going to use our home user AzerothCore yet. So we're just going to install everything into the Superman user. Now, I actually generally create an We'll have a little look at my Ansible playbooks, but I generally use I generally use a AzerothCore user on the system, and I do that in my Ansible playbooks. I set that user up. So running those playbooks is a multi-step process, and I use those to set up a non-privileged AzerothCore user, as well as get the systemd files in place. And then you rerun Ansible, and you rerun a different playbook, but you target the non-privileged user, so that AzerothCore is running as a separate, dedicated UUID, GUID for itself. And that's just for that's just for delineation, just to create hard points between essentially other parts of the system. And what I want to do in future streams is go ahead and actually do the security around the systemd and things like that, and the Ansible and the operating system itself, and really lock it down. And we can explore lots of other things as well. Systems are just going to come out. Also, might find this fun. Let's have a look. Mod 8 bot for, yeah, it's so cool. The AH bot. Yeah, you create a few users in AzerothCore, and you can get this sort of like user that sits in the background and generates items and adds them to the auction house, fills it up. It's pretty cool. Linux containers split the difference in an interesting way. Shame it never really took off. Yeah, it did it? LXC never really took off. Don't really hear about it anymore. It's a shame. But that's pretty typical. I mean, things come and go sort of like super fast. They come and go super fast in this industry. Alright, so I'm going to run CMake. So you've got make, and then you've got CMake. CMake, I believe, is a bit more modern, and we're going to pass it lots and lots of flags. I've never really delved into these flags, but they allow you to change various things. Like, I think you can actually do dtools build all, and this will give you pretty much everything: all server, world server, and various other things like the extractor, the map extractor, etc. I just usually go with everything. I think I do go with everything inside of my Ansible work as well. But also what it does as well, sorry, this actually just builds out, CMake actually builds out the project required to then do the actual compilation itself. So CMake sort of sets everything up for the build environment, and then you go ahead and do the build itself. So if we come here, we got CMake, yeah, so that should be 4, so we can maximize the number of cores that we're actually using here. And then so obviously J6 is, so I mean what they could have actually done there is just make -j and then done mproc -- all like that. I'm actually unable to see my own thing. I'm just going to bring that to the top, Control L, sorry. So make j mproc .all, so that should get a nice 4-core build process going there. So the using that thing there at the end of the shell just means it runs it, gets the return, and then pops it in place. So it'll be -j4. Compilation can be fairly quick. I'd give it 4 cores. There's nothing else running on that box, so it should be fairly quick. What we can do is we can come back to where are we? Yeah, we can come back to proxmox. We got our thing here. Go into summary. We can see the CPU is being absolutely smashed, like a I don't know, like something that gets smashed. CPU memory usage 6 gig. It will use way more than that once we get actually running, because again it loads everything into RAM like maps and things, and you can customize that. We'll have a little play around, but you can actually customize that. What is, oh yeah, don't do that. That's how, what are we looking at on Twitch? We got 1 user on Twitch. I might even just not use Twitch anymore, honestly. What is the point? Niklas, welcome. Instructions, where we go here, we got Crunchy, hey Crunchy. Okay, it's smashing away. Still going, 23%. Once you finish the compilation process, there is another stage which involves downloading things like map files, right? So if we go over to here, we got our install. Maybe useful to preserve these commands in a script, otherwise and then this is like sort of, you can repeat it for later on. Systemd services. So as you can see, as I was saying earlier, this is a very basic systemd excuse me, very basic systemd unit file. If we go systemd unit file hardening, I believe you should be able to see that. Yeah, sweet. Then hardening applications with systemd 2022. I think this is the one. I do remember seeing a pretty good one. So let's have a look at different options. For example, a service file set up a while ago for a Discord bot. So you can see he's got things like hardening, private devices, private temp, protect control groups, protect the system full, protect kernel turnables, restrict the SUID and sticky GID. That's for like SUID, and for example, is when SUID and SGID is when you run a binary. If you run a binary as the user that doesn't own the binary, it will still run as the owner of the binary, or the group as the binary, and that's how certain system commands work. They're owned by root, but they need to have root privileges, like passwd, for example, and so that's like a set UID, sticky UID. I believe that's what it means anyway. And then you're setting the user, but there's actually more you can do. So if you come through, like you can see here that he's doing an analyze security on his service file, and it's showing all of the sort of things that you can actually do inside of systemd. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he's working his way through, setting the UMass, protect home, protect users, protect proc. He's adding additional ones here. I believe he's still going. That's already a lot better. So we can improve it. Next step is restricting access to the system itself. Restricted address families, yeah. So he's limiting it to just IP related protocols effectively, yeah, rather than sockets. Let's have a look. Protected home system there. Overall exposure 4.7. Okay. The next two options are very, very powerful, but it's a bit harder to decide to set them. Capability bounding set and system call filter. That's interesting. Wow, so you can really go down and example capabilities include privileges. That wow. Okay. That's quite interesting. 2.8. Okay, he's really good. 1.1 overall level exposure level 1.1. That's pretty good. So you can see it's a much more different system unifile versus versus the standard one that we saw earlier, which was this one. This is fine. It'll just get it running. We'll put this one in place. But as you can see, there's so much more you can do in order to really lock it down and almost sort of negate the need for things like containers, really, to be honest. However, containers have a different role in that they allow you to very easily deploy software very quickly. Alright, there was a conversation about AI-generated quests for AzerothCore at the previous server like a year ago. Did anyone end up doing this in the WoW emulator ecosystem? Miklos, thanks for the question. It's very true. That was a thing. I think I even spoke about that. I'm generating a plugin for AzerothCore, which I'll talk about in another stream, called it's part of the World of Warcraft series, and it's called Better Starting Zones. And the idea is that it creates an optional quest that allows the player to start in just the first few key zones and go from 1 to 60 inside of those zones in a relatively quick way, but also using an interesting quest arc that requires the player to travel around, and they get given gear, and by the time they hit 60, they're sort of relatively well geared, blah 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 blah. They've got some professions under their belt and so on and so forth. I'm using AI to generate that story, but not directly inside of AzerothCore or the database. It's more that I'm generating the story, which will then inform the quest themselves. That being said, I did write a tool called Daisy that allows me to very quickly spin up quests. So I can very quickly spin up quests by writing YAML, and then that Daisy then converts the YAML to the SQL required to put in the database to create a quest. And so it makes it easier to write things out. And I'm still working on that tool. It is public. I'll show that in another stream at some point. And I'm going to see if there's a way of feeding the YAML structure into an LLM, or maybe even something like DeepSeek R1. There's this new open source Chinese one which runs really well on my system, really fast. And I'm going to see if it can get it to output the YAML, and basically like, here's, given this story, create a 4 or 5 quest chain with between these NPCs, and see if it can actually go out there and actually build something. So that would be really cool, I guess. So I am interested in doing that, Miklos, definitely. The systemd thing that caused problems for me is it ignores tuning system limits D. Need to define mproc no file and such. Okay. I didn't realize I could do that. Maybe I should add some to mine. Most I do is protect a script I run that uses screen stuff to the world server. To shut it down with an environmental set time. So yeah, okay, it might be useful for fixing. My tool, Daisy, might be useful for fixing some broken quests, quite possibly. Let's have a look. Another project I want to do. So we're at 90% in the compilation process. AzerothCore is actually a massive. It's a massive project. It's an absolutely huge code base. A few million lines of C++. It's been getting developed since 2006, 2007, 2008, I think. It's been going for quite a while. So there's quite a bit of code involved with AzerothCore, and so that's why the installation process takes quite some time. But we're nearly there. Oh, we're so close. Another thing I was looking at doing as well was bringing the AzerothCore database, all of the NPCs, game object locations and things, and bringing them out of the database and putting them into a graph database, and then using a tile server front map end to basically map out Azeroth and allow me to scroll around and see where all the NPCs are, and then be able to edit the database through that interface. But the only thing that's really missing primarily is a tile server of Azeroth itself. I have a very high resolution image of Azeroth, but I need a tile server, and I don't know how to build that, so that might be something that I do at some point in the future. Alright, we have compiled. Let's go ahead and, well, if you do, okay, username here, yeah, okay, AzerothCore. Alright, the user there is AzerothCore, so we're not gonna do that. In order to make this easy as well, I'm just gonna shoot over to a root, because I find that easiest to do. Oops. Alright, we'll go to world server the service, dump it all out, and then we'll thingy the Vim not found. Let's get that solved straight away. Maybe I should add that into the list of BIM. Maybe I should add that into the list of requirements for the server. Alright, so we're going to go down here and we're going to do this. So simple, always restart, blah blah blah, home AzerothCore, and let's go home AzerothCore. I actually did not know. Oh, that's the auth server, not the world server. No, I didn't even know that existed. a.k.a. run auth server. Oh, okay, let's go check that out. That's interesting. Let's change that to auth server, because that's not right. Sorry if my keyboard, by the way, let me bring this back up here. Sorry if my keyboard is really loud and my audio's all over the place. I'm still sort of trying to work on that. Move world server to the auth server, and then let's go back, and then let's get the world server. That's interesting. Oh, right, they use screen here to run it. Okay, I don't really do it that way. World server service, but I will humor the dev team, and we will have a little look at that. Let's have a look. So they run screen -s world server d a.k.a. Okay, all right, that's fine. Audio's still fine. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate that. Hopefully, it's nice and clear, not too loud, not too low. And I know my keyboard with this microphone will be very might be coming through quite loud, because it is quite a. I did try to reduce the sensitivity of it, and I might experiment with that. But yeah, I'm glad it's fine for the time being. PZZip full is useful too if you're using v16 data versus extracting manually. What way does a graph database help with that editing tool? You could just use something that looks at the SQL. It's a good question, but what I like about a graph database is it makes it very easy to also look at the relationships between those objects. For example, if you place an NPC on the map in your tile server and you can see them, you can create relationships very easily between that NPC and perhaps a quest. So you can read in the SQL database and you can look at the quest templates, the creature templates, etc., and then the creatures, and then the various sort of like game objects and things that exist, all the NPCs, and you can draw relationships to them. So you can go, for example, this NPC, you can pull in a quest and an NPC and the NPC gives you that quest. So then you can draw a relationship between them, and you can be like, is quest giver of quest So nodes in a graph database tend to be nouns, and then the relationships tend to be verbs. So the quest giver gives the quest, giving being a noun, being a verb, of course. Then what you can do is you can then go, well, you can look at the quest and go, well, what do you have to kill to complete the quest? It might be like, go and kill 10 wolves. Those wolves will be on the map as well, right? Or at least the spawning node where they're spawned from will be on the map. So then you can draw another relationship between the quest and the non-human wolf NPC, for example, let's say, and you can say you've got to go here to kill this. So you can actually visually see where the NPC is, what quest they give, and where you've got to go to do the quest. And you can also then even go take it a step further, and then you can look at the drop loot tables for those NPCs, and you can draw those items out. Maybe I missed this, but why run? Hopefully that answers the question, Miklos. I agree. Yeah, I've sort of never seen that before, but I'm just going to go with it for now. I actually didn't even know that this acore.sh file existed. To be perfectly honest with you, they run screen. The reason they run screen with the world server is because the world server has a console attached to it that sometimes you need to jump into to create user accounts or manipulate user permissions. What I actually do, which I'll show in my Ansible playbook shortly, actually, it's only 5 to 8. So let's get this done, get this up and running, and get the client connected to it, and we'll see it working. But it allows you to see the console. But what I do is I just turn the console off in my implementation. I don't even bother with it at all, basically. All right, so the systemd, yeah, so we gotta go systemccl enable enable world server. Woohoo! World server. All right, and also okay, cool. That starts them up all started. The service can be automated. So let's go back. Server setup. So can you start them already? MySQL is in place. They haven't been configured though. So hang on. I was just saying servers can be automatically start. Yeah, enable or stop it. You can start AzerothCore like this. That probably would fail actually because we've not done. Yeah, we've not extracted any map files or anything. So I wish it was this easy to run a private EQ server. EverQuest. Yeah, there's a few things out there that a few sort of software solutions out there for various games that. Sorry, there are various games out there that I wish had really sort of complete private server solutions that were easy to run. One of the big ones for me, I actually really like EVE Online. I think it's a fantastic game, but I really like the PvE in it. The PvP is certainly a very fun aspect to it. It does make the game very interesting, but I'm not really into PvP, or at least engaging in it directly myself. And so I wish there is a private server project for it, but it's very incomplete and it's a very old version of EVE Online. So I know what you mean. Like if you're into EQ, then it would be great if there was a server for that. Screen allows it to run the background, and you can move world server to the foreground without losing performance. In other words, using the console when you need to. Yeah, that's right. This is easier than extracting yourself. Yes, that's right, and they do actually have that in here. They have instructions in here. I believe they should have instructions in here. They did used to go to AzerothCore build server. Okay, actually, yeah, I know about that. I use that zip file in my own Ansible, but hang on a minute. There should be an alternative to that because, that's weird. All right, let's dive over to here. I could have sworn that was documented. I could have sworn they had that in the documentation. Don't think they provide it in the wiki. Oh, they must not have done. Yeah, maybe you're right. Okay. I pretty much pull it down. Yeah. Okay. Weird. Alright, well thanks for the link. Yeah, I am aware of that. I'm just a little bit baffled as to why they don't CD's your WoW client actually, yeah. Think to avoid crosshairs of Blizzard maybe? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I didn't think there were much legalities around those files because I think that even though they're the product of existing IP, intellectual property, they're new files. Because I wonder why they wouldn't just remove them from GitHub, because GitHub's owned by Microsoft, who own Blizzard, Activision, who own World of Warcraft. I don't know. It's a good question. Let's not explore it today. Let's have a look. So, build. Oh yeah, data. Hang on, is it? What was the? Pretty certain that the build actually goes into your home, does it not? Okay. Whoa. Build. God damn it. Build. Modules, depth, CMake. Why? Where does it get thingy to again? CMake. Make install prefix environment dist. Okay. env dist. clang. It's been a while since I've done it raw like this. env dist. Where does it go to again? env dist. No, make data folder where you like. Just put it in core. Yeah, but where did the binaries go? I thought they came into here. But I'm not seeing the etc or bin directory. I'm confused. I've lost track of myself. It's definitely not in there. Oh, it comes out what level, doesn't it? Build, env dist bin. Okay, env dist bin. Oh, actually, sorry, maybe I missed. I didn't do make install. Oh! I think I did make, but I didn't do make install. I think I missed the make install. I don't think I did make install. Whoops. Haha, lol. Build. Make install. There we go. I knew there was something. That's why I was really confused. Because I was like, this should be just, should just be here. That's what I was expecting to say. Bin and da. Yeah, bin, mk data, data, boom. So yeah, this is very useful. This is actually, this file is actually managed by the chap that runs the AzerothCore server. One of the main admins over there. He's been active for about 1 billion years. Where are you, sir? Where's your name? Where's your name? Thingy 88 or whatever it's called, 58 or something. What's his name? I can't remember his name. But yeah, he is a very heavily contributor over there. He provides the zip file, which is very nice. I'm actually thinking of with SoloCraft, I'm going to actually just compile a pre-made executable for Windows and for Linux, because to be honest with you, the only actual thing I think I actually want to add into SoloCraft is maybe the auction house bot, but I definitely want to put a Luna in. I don't know if you guys have seen a Luna, so it basically adds a Lua engine into AzerothCore so that you can write Lua scripts for your modules in order to prevent having to recompile. I think you have to restart, but I don't think you have to recompile. Well, you definitely don't have to recompile, but I think you may have to restart or reload. I think you can reload live, I think. Lots of work being done on it. Yeah, there is a lot of work being done on it. I think it's because it creates that really nice interface where you get to use the full API of AzerothCore, but without having to write C++. C++ is the better choice overall, because you're going to get speed and it's integrated directly into the core when you compile it, but you've got to compile and you've got to learn C++. And so it's not really, no, I don't do that. Ideal. Did I download? Oh, no, I didn't. Alright. Sudo apt. Oh my god, you're going to be getting smashed by the keyboard, aren't you? I apologize. Let me try putting the mic down there. Is that still good? Install unzip. I feel like you guys would just be getting absolutely smashed by the background noise of the keyboard, just being like. Probably going to do this wrong now. No, there we go. Okay, cool. Keyboard isn't actually that loud, isn't it really? Okay. I did sort of reduce the sensitivity of the microphone in the system settings. But yeah, it is mechanical, but it's, I think they're brown keys. I think I went for the sort of the brown key option. Where's this message here? I need a new phone. Just one second. Oh, it's my brother. Alright, is KD your daily driver or just for put? No, I use KD every single day. I don't use it at work, but I do use it every single day. KD Plasma, I absolutely love it. My history with Linux on the desktop has been spotted and sporadic and up and down. I've always used sort of Windows, and then I used Windows for years, and then I bounced between Windows and Linux, and then I found that Linux was just back in the day. I'm talking sort of late 90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s, then like 2010, then like 2012, and up until about maybe 2021, 2022, up until that point, I always found that like the hardware compatibility was just so hit and miss. Like I remember once, and this was only like a few years ago, I think I upgraded, I think I did an update of the system, and it upgraded the audio stack. It didn't touch anything else. It just upgraded the audio drivers, and my graphics card failed. So I was like, okay, that's fucking annoying. So I decided that it's probably best that we don't update the system, and maybe even don't use Linux. But that being said, when the very latest version of Ubuntu came out, let's go through about on this system. So what are we looking at here? So we're looking at, that's actually quite hard to see. So we're looking at Plasma version 5.27, KDE Frameworks version 5.11, Qt version 5, kernel 6.8. I'm using X11, I'll go to that in a second. Kubuntu 2404. What I really loved about Kubuntu 2404 was when I installed it, it basically just worked, like boom, like just worked. I didn't even have to install a graphics driver. It was embedded straight into the actual kernel itself. My AMD CPU just worked immediately, and I'm talking like full-on gaming. I have not been to the AMD website since running this desktop in over a year now. I've never downloaded a driver. I just do apt upgrade and everything just works. Steam just works. Games just work. Even, to my surprise, I bought this recently, but even a PS5 a DualShock Edge controller, even this actually just worked out of the box as well. So I literally just plugged it in, and Steam was able to do its integration, and I was able to play this in Elite Dangerous and fly around the galaxy in my little rocket ship, and just completely natively, just completely out of the box. Linux is getting great. I agree. I absolutely agree. I've always kept the Windows box around for gaming, but Win 11 is really making me want to fight with Wine to get my games all working in Linux. Amberwind, Windows 11 is just garbage. It's so bad. It's such a bad. I just don't understand how Microsoft. I mean, I do. It's all about money grab and data right at the end of the day in AI, but it's so bad. Like, it's just so terrible. I don't understand how building an operating system over several decades can result in it getting worse. Like, how do you do that? How do you actually get worse over time? I don't know. I have no idea. Why did? Oh wow, the live stream on YouTube is either. Oh, that just must be the preview window. Looks like it's really far behind. I don't know if thingy is lagging. Kubuntu, welcome, mate. Kubuntu is great. Whoa. Oh, that's a big one. Oh, that's okay. Ubuntu is so great that Kubuntu is so great that Ubuntu should have KDE as a default instead of GNOME. I agree entirely. KDE is way better than GNOME. GNOME Shell's okay, does the job, but KDE is way better. Where they completely, I don't know if you're aware of this, but they actually completely and utterly rewrote KDE from scratch. My understanding is that very recently, over the last few years, they completely rewrote it from scratch because they were just sort of like, this sucks. And so they completely rewrote it from scratch, and it has been fantastic. It's been such. Also, I just want to point out, I've barely changed anything on the desktop in terms of configuration. I've barely changed anything at all, in the sense of I've had to fiddle with this to get this good, or I've had to change this setting so that that's great. the default layout. I'm on an ultra wide monitor. My monitor is like off, probably out of the frame. You're seeing just a middle bit, and honestly, all I've done is I've just selected the layout so that the Windows Snap. This bit in the middle is perfectly 1080p, which is beautiful for OBS. That's why you're getting a nice clean sort of thingy there in the middle. Boom, 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 straight in. It genuinely has been so nice. It really has been quite amazing. All right, where are we at? I've done that. Let me. I'm gonna try. I'm actually just gonna run the world server now directly because I want to see it set up the database. I don't think it's going to be able to because I actually haven't done anything with the database at all. I've not ran anything. Let's actually go back to the where are we? Install server setup. So alright, okay. So we've got the database installation. Yeah, okay. There's a database installation step. Thoughts on the new desktop environment that the guys over at Pop! OS are working on? Cosmic. I've never looked at it. I've never looked at it again. Honestly, I've never needed anything other than KDE or Kubuntu. I should be precise word Kubuntu. I've tried Ubuntu and installing KDE, but it is specifically Kubuntu that has just worked for me almost sort of immediately out of the box. I'm not sure whether Pop will give you the same experience, but I'm running an AMD CPU. It's all DDR4 based, PCIe 4 based system. I'm running an AMD APU, and I don't really have any sort of esoteric hardware requirements. I've got a Rode. They're actually probably the most sort of esoteric components, probably the 49-inch ultra wide. In all honesty, that's probably the weirdest thing that I have. Everything else is bog standard, and it really has just worked. So I don't know, to be honest with you, Ember. I don't know whether Pop's going to give you the same thing. I installed KDE right away. My laptop uses Pop desktop art. Yeah, I've been running Linux for about a year now. I had so many issues with GNOME, especially when it comes to NVIDIA stuff. Really interesting. Yeah, I think NVIDIA, haven't they recently just been forced to sort of do better with their open source driver stuff? Creating a database in MySQL, creating a database user. Okay, here we go. So, populating. I know that when you run them, they do that themselves. Okay, but hang on a minute. I see. So they give you a copy a clean link. All right. Okay, that's fine. Boom. Let's go to. Oops, Daisy. Should I put it in here? Yeah. Let's do MK SQL. I can't remember whether. Let's slowly get that down. Let's have a look at it. Oh, for Christ's sake. What did you just give me? Oh, I know why. I've only got to do that. Okay. .1. No. What the hell? Okay. Well, that's annoying. That's really annoying. Let's just call it create.sql. God damn it. Boom. Alright, so create user if not exist, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. So the easiest way to do that is pretty much just to do sudo MySQL so that you go over to the root and feed in the create file, and that should have actually done it. So when you do when you access MySQL as root, it will go in as the root user and show databases. We have a.core auth and a.core characters and a.core world. A.core auth is literally authentication, deals with realm lists and things. A.core characters is literally characters, obviously. And a.core world is massive. It's just like huge. And that is everything. That is your creature template, your world template, your quests, game objects, where things are in the world. Even things like dialogue inside of chat windows and things like that. Inside of NPC dialogue windows and things. It is everything. That being said, there's a lot on the client side, which I'll talk about in another video, very difficult to change, unfortunately. Let's have a look what we got here. Been running the links for. Speaking of things getting worse over time, they open source some drivers and CUDA. Oh, okay, continue to be superior. Open source is still shite. Yeah, okay, that's a shame. I know the proprietary drivers are fairly good on Linux. I'm just happy with AMD at the moment. It seems to be doing the job quite nicely. I think as well, like if you look at the Steam Deck, I think in fact that's a good indicator that Linux is now a perfectly acceptable platform for gaming is the fact that a company like Valve and other companies like Asus have created literal hardware devices that you can buy that run Steam and therefore run games. I think that is very indicative of where the industry is going. I don't know if you agree. I mean, for me, that is very clearly. That's a clear insight into the fact that it must be stable enough, otherwise the business wouldn't risk the millions that it would take to research and build out something like a Steam Deck. And so that should give you a good idea of how well it runs. I'm happy to share at some point my Steam library for you, Ember, so you can see what I'm running. But I'm Baldur's Gate 3, Divinity Original Sin 2, Elite Dangerous. I think The Witcher 3 works absolutely fine. World of Warcraft retail runs absolutely fine. I use a bottle for that. I use wine bottles, just because it was just click and off you go. I think X4 Foundations worked really well. Yeah, I don't think there's been many games. The only one to really think about would be anything with anti-cheat. Isn't really the best. That's all. I want to switch to AMD at some point, but cards have been getting exponentially expensive. Yeah, they are, and unfortunately, with the current political climate as well, it's probably not going to. The prices probably aren't going to go down, and it's not looking good. Anyway, I don't want to turn this into a political stream, but it's not looking good between sort of China and Taiwan. So I don't know. All right, so we've got our database in place. I'm going to go and run the world server, and it failed. That's okay. Failed to open world server. Oh yeah, because you've got to actually create it. So it doesn't exist by default. They give you dist files. So you go world file, and then you got to do the same with the auth, boom. So that you end up with a world server and an auth server.config. So world server, pretty certain by default. Well, look, I know for a fact that the console is enabled by default, which is why they use screen. Just going back to the question earlier about why they're using screen inside of systemd, it's so that as it runs, you can still bring it to the foreground, go into the console, and then detach again. I've never done it that way before. It's quite an interesting way of doing it. I might look at doing that. But let's go to database. Databases. I'm just going to go up. There we go. Yeah, 127, there's 3, a.core, well, okay, so they should be the defaults, but let's just sudo apt install nettools. Zup. That's because I like to use good old netstat. So we can see that everything's listening on 127.0.0.1. That's going to be an issue if our world server and auth servers also listen on those ports. So in fact, what we actually need to do... Oh, actually, the default now is to bind to 0000. Okay, that's pretty good, because that means it will bind to my network IP, which is 192.168.89.35, which means that when I configure the client locally, which we'll see, it will connect and run. So that's good. So now what we can do is go to bin. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to do sudo systemctl, and then I'm going to do start auth server. Auth server, boom. And now we'll do a status. Let's make sure that came up okay. It failed. Okay, did it fail? Oh no, activating. Failed with X. Okay, so it failed. So let's run the auth server directly and see why it failed. Okay, I think that's either a path issue or something, because it's added the realm. However, it's added the realm at the bottom here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's added the realm at 127.0.0.1.80.85. What will happen is the WoW client will connect to the auth server, authenticate, and then the auth server will then say, "Cool, here's a realm called AzerothCore. You need to connect to 127.0.0.1 port 80.85," and then the client will then try and connect to your local PC, as opposed to the virtual machine that I'm running on proxmox, which is at 192.168.89.35. So that needs to be changed. So I'll go in and we'll do the SQL on that. It's interesting that the systemd file didn't actually work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go back to. I'm going to go back to here. That's the database setup, networking. Okay, so they talk about it here actually. They talk about 127.0.0.1 and you should bind it to here and blah 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 blah. But the realm list table in the auth, in the a.k.a. auth database, is what they're referring to here. a.k.a. auth, and they're saying update the realm list, set the address to your IP where ID equals 1. If you don't do that, you're not going to be able to connect to your WoW server. And then the final server stages are run the awesome world server build folder. Alright, I'm interested to work out. Okay, so if we look at those, systemd, system, let's start with the auth server one. It runs Azeroth. What? AzerothCore, Azeroth user. Okay. /home /Azeroth user. AzerothCore a.core. Okay, so let me just. Okay, sorry. Let me just try and test something here. A.core. There is an a.core. Okay. Oh crap. A.core.sh. Okay. With errors set to E. Okay. Current path. Oh my god, equals bash source 0, so that's the source of the current script that you're running, I think. Get the directory name, then cd to it, and then echo the thing to get the current path, and then go current path apps installer main. Apps, oh my god. Okay, apps installer main, vim apps installer main. So it's doing that to then be like, where did you install? What the okay. How is it? Oh, because it's using the option run. Okay, so it's using the option run auth server. That's what was configured in the systemd file. Was these three things here. This one here. However, God, I love bash scripts. Yeah, indeed. Blinky, you can also send commands to the world server through screen. Oh yeah, that's true. Command here, so they automate things. I think systemd is bad, to be honest. Just points to the bin. I agree entirely, Blinky. Yeah. Hijiru. Jihonjin desu ka? Jihonjin jiru. Hijiru jiro. San. Nihonjin desu ka? My Japanese is really bad. I'm still learning, sorry. Or would you probably just like anime, right? That's what most people just like anime. I find running into Japanese people online is rare, and it's generally someone who just likes anime, and they're just called the alias like a anime character. Kido Nihonjin Bikyu Shimasu. Nihonji Jane Kido Nihongo Bikyu Shimasu. Oh, interesting. It's interesting you use Romanji and not hiragana. Alright, so that runs that. Jesus Christ, that is mental, but okay. I see why it failed now though, because I didn't set it up probably. I didn't read what I was actually copy pasting. Auth server, the world server will be the same as well. So working directory, yeah, there we go. So that should be Superman. Japanese not set up here. Yeah, I couldn't. I'm working on Linux yet, and I didn't have time to set up. Oh, I can help you with that if you want, because I had the same issue. I use I have it working here, so I can do. I've set up Control Meta Alt Space to switch to hiragana, and so I can Ohayo gozaimasu. And then I can do it again. It goes back to English. It's called a Mozc. Maybe I can help with some point in doing that. All right, so we got the user correct, but let's do the same. We can definitely talk about it. No worries. Great. No worries. I can help you with that. World server.service. Ding ding. One of the best shortcuts in Vim I ever came across in the whole world is CIW. It's basically edit in place the current word. It allows you to just very quickly just go and just change a thing, and it's I think it might actually be better than oxygen, to be perfectly honest with you. Let's have a look. Off server, so that should be dead. It is. But, wow, what's going on here? That wasn't desirable at all. I have WoW raid in 30 minutes, but I want to hang out here more. I really want to learn more about DevOps. Yeah, no worries. You got a WoW raid in 30 minutes. That reminds me of a friend of mine who was at university, and he was halfway through a university exam, and he was like, oh no, I've got a raid, and he got up and he left the exam halfway through because he had a WoW raid. Which I think's pushing it, but he was pretty confident he had passed the units anyway, so... Okay. Okay, the unit file source can be dropping into the teams, run system... Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Aim and reload. Password, okay. Bad password on this VM. Yeah, okay. I've done that before, but for Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, I've played Final Fantasy 14 as well, yeah. That should now be... So that's now active. So what we need to do now is sudo, just to make sure while we remember, we need to head over to the auth database as we were looking for. If we look at the tables, we have one here called realms, realm list. Okay, if we describe realm list, we can see the fields and the types, of course, ID, name, etc. And then if we do, so we do ID, name, address. Local address is also an important one, and we'll do local subnet mask as well. You don't need to actually capitalize them. I don't know why I'm doing that. There you go. Realm list, boom. So we have AzerothCore 172.1.1.2.7.2. Here's why it's important. If you use address is what gets sent to the client. If the connecting client is connecting from an IP that is outside of local address and outside of local subnet mask. This is how I believe it works anyway. If you're inside of local subnet mask, it will send you that local address, which is fantastic, because if you imagine networking, you have a set of PCs on the LAN side of the router and the switch, and then you have the internet. If you're on this side, you don't want to go like that. You don't want to go out to your ISP's network to then be routed back and on yourself again and come in. So the local address means you just connect directly to it, and that's why you bind these servers to the 0000 or the specific IP of the box, that you can get to it over the network, get it through the public, etc. But yeah, anyway. Alright, so now we want to do update realm list set. I'm going to set the name equals wow, but it's so wow. Set named I actually can't remember it's a comma now. I'm actually forgot. 192.168.89.35 where ID equals 1. Is that right? Yeah, it is. Okay, so it's wow. Okay, so cool. If we now drop out of here, what we should now be able to do is sudo system ctl status world server. Oh my god. World server. It should be inactive. It's never been started. I don't think we started it earlier. Let's see what happens. Alright. No, it failed. No, oh, no, it didn't. Wait, yeah, it failed. Okay. So it's trying to run. So world server, home Superman AzerothCore a.k.a. run world server. Let's try and do that ourselves. Let's stop it. So just so it's not flip-flopping in the background. Let's see what happens if we just run that ourselves. Okay, don't even have screen. Love it. Alright, why wasn't that in the list of... Oh wow, okay. That's quite interesting that wasn't in the list of requirements, given that then the documentation tells you to do that. Weird. Okay. Where are we here? Read creating accounts. I know how to do that. That's fine. I'm going to try Blinky's feature there because that was cool as hell. Alright, so now that we've got the world server running, I still want to go via this way. I thought you could do... Okay, interesting. So it's interesting that that shell script must also... Oh, well, of course it's inside the screen. I'm wondering why I'm not seeing an obscene amount of thingies there. So you're saying that you can do screen-r server. Alright, what was it? It was world server, wasn't it? great. Okay. I actually kind of like that. I don't sort of see why you would run the screen to then run the shell script, which then runs your binary. You could just run screen directly. But I don't know. Don't know how I feel about using screen. Screen is amazing. What's the other one? Tmux? Isn't Tmux meant to be great as well? I've got people who swear by it, like things like Vim and Emacs and Tmux and screen and stuff, and they use it like, oh, like tile inside the thing, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't think I can run IntelliJ IDEA inside of screen. I don't think that will work. I also don't think there's a need to. Control A then D to go back into the background. Thanks for that. Yeah. I was actually going to ask you how to do that, because I used to use screen back in the day, very, very long time ago. What I used to do was run BitchX and IRSSI, IRC clients in screen on remote Linux systems. I don't know if any of you are actually old enough to remember things like IRC and IRSSI and BitchX. They were very... IRC actually completely predates Usenet and the internet. This guy's... Yeah, I'm old, man. Come on. I'm friggin' 40. I'm sorry, my back all... Yes, my back also hurts. Yeah, exactly. I'm actually on a standing desk. I don't know if you guys realise that, because of things like my back. I'm there with you in age. Yeah, nice. It's funny actually, because it's been a while since I've streamed, but I do really love streaming, especially with guys like yourselves, or whatever gender you are. But there's a guy, an Australian guy, who's just up north from me, who streams, and he's like in his 60s. And I remember joking around with him saying like, "Oh damn, you old, bro." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm proper old." And then I got chatting with him, and he's playing like Space Engineers or something. And I said, "How old are you?" And he was like 67. And I was like, "Dude, damn, that's sick." And I was like, "I assume you're retired?" And he's like, "Yep." And he's like, "I'm retired. I just stream all day, and I just play games all day." And I was like, "Fuck, I cannot wait to be 67." It sounds amazing. Whoa. Updating. Whoa. Yeah, that went mental. Did you see that? Clip it. That went nuts. Okay, let's env dis bin. I hate that installation directory. I put it under, with my Ansible playbox, I put it under the user / AzerothCore / and then I have the branch that you install from, so you can create multiple servers under that, and then bin, blah blah blah. Alright, well anyway, let's fire up the world server directly here. There we go, maps. Okay, so it doesn't like... because it's in data. I'm with you in age. That was weird. I don't use that sh at all though. It's the map information, because I put it inside of data. So what I could do is I could either move it, or I could reconfigure the world server to... where are you? Isn't it maps or something? Oh, for Christ's sake. Path issues, maps. What is the path? Data.dir. Man, Blinky, you know your shit, bro. Data.dir, I have to go backwards. Really? Data.dir. You are correct. I remember that config. Database threads data. Oh, data. Okay. So hang on. If it's data needs to be quoted as a string might contain space characters. I'm gonna knock that off because it doesn't have a slash on their example, but that's a Windows example. As I've started to age, my joints, bones, and muscles have all started to hurt more. I'm only 27 though. Turns out not normal, and I have arthritis. Oh no, Carwin, that sucks. Yeah, sorry to hear that. I've known people that have done the same thing. They have suffered ailments and then been like, maybe I'm just unfit, and then the other doctor's like, yeah, no, it's actually this thing, and it's brutal. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the data that's found it. So now it's going to load in the contents of that zip file, which is your map files, vmaps, etc. Oh, hang on. Failed network. Let's have a look. A-core closing down. Failed to bind to socket acceptor. Failed to initialize network. Okay, let's have a think. Oh, hang on. That's why. Because of the systemd. Systemctl stop world server. World server. As you can see, it's not actually. There's a degree of difficulty in actually getting this thing running. I've done this quite a few times, but because I've got an Ansible playbook that now just does it for me, I don't struggle like this. Tmux is winning. Blinky, you've been your screen has been you're being outvoted, bro. I'm staying out of it. I'm not getting involved in that fight. All right, account create. So now we've got to create an account. So I'm going to create an account just called Mike, and then you set the password for it. So that creates it. But then if you want the account, if you want the account to then be a game master, you've then got to do account. You do account create. And I'm going to do account set GM level. The account itself level 3 -1. 3 is the GM level. 3 is the highest, I think. And -1 means all realms, otherwise you set the ID of the realm. So we could say 1 and it would add it to just the first realm. And that allows you to create realm-specific game masters. And then I think the 0, 1, 2 and 3 permission sets allow us sort of not very fine-grained control over what a GM can do, which is why handing out a game master account is actually relatively a scary thing to do. Let me now, in this terminal, go to... There we go. I'm already inside the game. So now if I go data, where are we? It's ENGB for my client, and then it's realmlist.wtf. And as you can see, I've been playing around. So now I'm going to go 35, which is our new server that we've just created. So I'm changing the realmlist.wtf file in order to tell the WoW client that actually you need to go elsewhere in order to now find the auth server. That's world server running and the auth server's bound. That should just work, but let's find out. Username Mike, password bad password. Alright, bets on whether it'll work or not. And what you who's placing some bets? Get some bets going. Welcome to the chat, Grey Hat. Welcome to the stream. It'll work, I have faith. Thank you. I'm sure AzerothCore has a Docker compose for it. It does. I haven't run it in a while though. It does have Docker. I do avoid it. It will work first time. Okay. Oh no, it didn't. Net failed. Oh. So we can see the realm, but it's not able to connect to the realm, and I know why. I will create and give a special role on the Discord server to anyone who can tell me in the next 60 seconds what caused that. I know what it is. I've realized I didn't change something. Why can't I connect to the world server? We actually talked about it before with the auth server. That address, very excellent. Okay, so what about the address? 127001. Let's. Is that music too loud in the background? It's quite loud, isn't it? There we go. Drop it down a bit. There's music. Oops, a daisy. You're not hearing that? Really? You can't hear that? You can't hear the WoW client? That's interesting. You're running this externally, but it's routing locally or something like that? I haven't been here all the time. I can hear it. You can hear the music? Yeah, okay. That's probably really loud now. I bumped it really up. Need to set the address. I actually don't know who won that competition, so sorry, no. Okay, everyone gets a special role. I'll work it out later. Yeah, I believe actually the world server bind address was quite possibly wrong. It's actually right. Okay, so let's see what we're getting here in terms of... So I'm wrong. Now it's your stream. You own the stream now. Shit. Right, I'll just close down I'll close down the stream then, the server, and you guys can take over, because I was wrong. Crap. So AD, right, okay. Detached from, oh my god, I should have given it a name. What a moron. Okay, let me just bang up the world server again, because I want to see. It shouldn't be firewall. I don't even think that's. Yeah, it's not even a thing, and it's definitely not firewall on a default default installation. I just need to lower the volume in the actual WoW client, because it's giving me grief. Yeah, there we go. It was one. Sorry, what I wanted to check was the line port. So the world server there, 80, 85. The auth server is what it's connecting to just fine. It's binding to all ports, so I'm on the server there. So over here's the WoW client. What happens if, whoops, daisy, that's the wrong keystrokes. What happens if I try and connect to 192.168.89.35 on 8085? It succeeds, so that's quite interesting. 192.168.89.35. Okay. It was mine. Port mismatch. Try adding your stream and add compatibility to Proton. Please try adding to your Steam and add compatibility to Proton 9. But it does assume. What do you mean? I don't go and get that one, Blinky. What do you mean by that? Sorry. Okay, let's go to. So it's binding on 80. It's definitely not. It's definitely not firewall because it's not. There's just not even a thing. It's binding on my port. The auth server's working. Is with the client. No, the client's fine. It was wine. Oh. Maybe, but I've never had an issue with that before. So I don't. I actually can't remember the thingy for this because it's been a while. Oh, hang on, is it Mike? That password, I think. Yeah, that's the exact same client, just connecting to a WoW server on the exact same physical system, just on a different VM, different IP. So it's not the WoW client. It shouldn't be the WoW client. Unless I'm misunderstanding you. Start room 35. It is 35. IPA. Yeah, it is 35. The only thing I can think is that it's... Well, the auth server connected fine. That's weird. Why is it doing that? Calendar... Interesting. Wine just had big update. Maybe app upgrade wine. It's definitely not. I don't think it's wine. Yeah, you typed 25. I just said 35. Out loud. Yeah. Oh, what do you mean? Zentax, sorry. Did I... So it should be 35. That's the new server now. Oh, did I? Maybe that's the problem. Check IP in a realm the SQL. Yeah, that's a good point. Let me check the IP in that's more likely to be the issue. Because the auth server's working and the auth server's presenting the thingy. Okay, that's sudo mysql boom use a core auth. And then there should be a previous select. 25. Is that what you mean? You typed the wrong IP. Yeah, you typed the wrong IP. Good catch. Well done, bro. Look at that. Look at this guy over here. You just won. He won. Sorry, guys. He got it right. You all got it wrong. So the bans will commence shortly. Do I need to refresh the? Do I need to restart the auth server? systemctl restart also. Let's give it a shot anyway to see what happens. I wasn't here. Status. Yes! Okay, so that is a new WoW server running from, basically running from scratch. And that was annoying. What a process. Hallelujah. How do I say hallelujah or some equivalent in Japanese? What's the romanji for that in Japanese? Guess we won. Syntax. Galata. Oh my god, Galata. There's Zentax and Galatex. We're being taken over. We can aid against the Zentax. I actually really like the Tauren. I think they're just like a really nice. I really love the environment around them. I think it's really like, I don't know, it feels really peaceful. .gm on. .fly on. .gm fly on. Hey, come on, bruh. Woo, and then I think it's modify speed all 5. Yeah, baby. Oh yeah. Yukata. 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 5. Let's go 15. Brrr. It's pretty quick. Do you want to try Bulgarian? Okay, go for it. What does Zentax win? Let's have a think. I've got a feeling that's. I believe you. I believe that that's Bulgarian, and I believe that it is Hallelujah in Bulgarian. But I think that there's. I think that the Z there in the middle is probably. Is it silent? Is it like Ragel? Regele? Or is it actually Razgile? Bulgaria. I've never been to Bulgaria. I've heard it's really nice, Bulgaria, actually. It is not silent. Okay. It is not silent. There's no way. Maybe I have to pronounce it. Spell it out phonetically. How would I say it phonetically? Like my name, for example, is Krill, like E, like Krilly. That's how Krilly. That's how you'd say Krilly. So how would I say that in Bulgaria? You just said what? Razgele. So it's almost Razgele. Razgele. Very cool. So we have a server running. We're a Torrent Game Master, and we're flying at 15 meters per second. I think the modifies us. That looks roughly like 15 meters per second, I would say. I think one of the major issues, and there is actually a project, but it requires a client-side patch. Is there is. Yeah, it is 15 times normal speed, but how many, what type of units do you move per second? Is it meters? It's probably not meters, is it? It's probably like some dumb internal system to deal with the scope of the world or something. I like to think meters, whatever. You're right, yeah, it is 15 times normal speed. There is a project that allows you to patch the client so that you can fly inside of cities, because if you go to Stormwind, even as a Tauren, and then you come up, it just breaks. It breaks really, really badly. But there is a flying one that does enable it, but it has a few issues. I've tried fixing it, but they don't seem to see the way. You see this wall at the back here? I know it sounds really stupid, but do you see the way it's actually visible when you patch the client? But I don't know, yard. I think it is yards, yeah. When you patch the client, that disappears, and there's all these like little sort of like clipping issues where bits of the floor in random, really random areas, like where here you've got like, so you see the way that like pops in and out, that castle there. I can't point. It's up in the corner, like visible. It like sort of does that, but it does it on the floor here, and so that's a bit of a shame because it's actually a really cool. It's actually a really cool project that that allows you to fly around. And so I really wish it was something that could have a bit more. Sorry, I was just popping over to YouTube there. Something that could just have a bit more stability about it. Units per second. Have you seen the Turtle WoW Unreal Engine? I have. I don't know how I feel about it. I actually. What do you think of it? What do you think of it? Ivialo. That was Italian, wasn't it? Ivialo. You're Bulgarian, obviously, but I said it like you're Italian. I apologise. I really want to try making HD models for certain parts of the old world. Kill Unreal with fire. You've been warned for capital letters. Hijiru. Hijiru. Naughty. There is a patch for. There is a HD client patch. You want to see it? Have you seen it before? Open Azeroth. Oh, you've seen it. Okay. What's this backup? What's Contra? That must be Contra. Wow. Oh my god, that Star Citizen directory better not be taking up any space. 106 gig. Oh my god, I can't even play it. Doesn't play very well on Linux, or at least it's really, really difficult. That's getting yeeted and deleted, baby. Size of models thing. I'm more actually change. Okay. Unreal Engine client can be developed without a huge funding. I agree. It is a pretty impressive feat of engineering. It really, really is. The Unreal client is. I'll give you my opinion now. I don't really like it. I think that it takes away the aesthetic feel. I don't think it looks good. It looks good in the sense of, wow, look at that, look what's been achieved. And it does look good. If I'd never seen World of Warcraft before, I'd be like, that looks pretty cool. But because World of Warcraft has this history of being stylized and has a look and feel to it, it just doesn't really, it doesn't really do it for me. But it's very impressive work. It is very impressive work. Just going back a bit, I really want to have a way to modify the client properly. That's from Giro. You can do that. There's like what's it called? What's that thing called? Red something that will let you patch the client stuff. It's fairly difficult. I've got the thingy here. Hang on. It's called. I should be on the actual Discord server. I think Nugget. There's Nugget, and then there's another one. I think there's another one called Nugget, and there's Nugget Red, I think it's called. That lets you modify the client. Well, it's one of the things that lets you modify the client. I avoid client modifications because, to be perfectly honest and frank with you guys, modifying the back end is hard enough. The amount of SQL and stuff you've got to do just to get a quest in place is enough for me. But I'm definitely interested in trying various clients. I've got one here, so I've got Open Azeroth patched here. I forgot I actually had this. Let me go in and just change this. You can see I've had multiple servers over the years. All these IP addresses just everywhere. Actually, was that? I was right, I think. Right, we're going to find out anyway. Okay. So this one is, I think I got that right, IP wrong, I think. Let's see the 168, yeah, it's 89. 88 is another internal network here. Alright, let's have a look. So, yeah, I don't know how I felt about the HD client, and I don't know how I felt about the Unreal Engine one. They just didn't really gel with me. If I fly now, okay, GM fly on. Modify speed, or let's go with 10. We can now fly around. You can see that the patch to the client has enabled it to fly around, and so the team on this patch are taking the old 335A world and making it so that you can fly around the old world, AzerothCore itself, because of course you can fly in 335A, but only in certain zones, specifically Outland and I think Northrend. I think you can fly. Yeah, you can fly in Northrend as well. And so those have been designed as maps to permit and allow flying, but you can't fly in the old world over here, Kalimdor or the Eastern Kingdoms. What? Oh, that's Shimmering Expanse. Huh? If you ever want to get rid of the rabbit hole of custom clients, just look at the Ragnarok Online modern clients. Yeah, have you seen? There's also back-end new, basically complete and utter rewrites of things like AzerothCore and Mangos in like. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it is Lich King. I think it's because I'm using the modded client. I think they've added it to the map. There's even complete rewrites of back-end. The MMO emulator itself in like JavaScript and stuff, like really crazy stuff that's meant to be like highly configurable. I don't know, crazy. All right, where did we get to? All right, I'm gonna take a short break because I need to the toilet and I need to go and make a coffee. So I'm gonna take a short break. I'm gonna leave the stream running. What should I do? I don't have any hold music. Let me just play the WoW client. Let's get back into the WoW client. We'll have that running. Maybe I should record. Maybe I should whistle an elevator tune and make that the background noises. It's midnight for me, so I'm going to peace out. Thanks for the stream. No worries. Oh, nearly died. Grey hat. Thanks so much for coming. I really do appreciate it. Alright, talk to you another time. Thank you, Jiro-san. Enjoy your raid. Gonna go to sleep now. Thanks for streaming. You are welcome. Thank you for joining me. The stream will keep running. I'll come back if anyone's still around. Then I'll keep going, and I will look at the. We will look at the. What am I trying to say here? The Ansible playbook. Let's get the music going. That might be just gently in the background there. All right, there you go. That's what you're getting for now. Be right back, bros. Discord notice, cancel. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a copy, paste. I'm going to change that to be right back. Be right back. Whoop. That's really big. What's going on here? Behave yourself. Be right back. There you go. Give me a few minutes. I am just waiting for the coffee to boil. Because, you know, thanks to streaming, set up my first WoW server 14 years ago, and that hooked me in programming. That's so cool. I know he's not around, but to hear, but that is really, really cool. Is Cassidozen, which can fly in the old world, so it'll probably emerge. Strange map. Yeah, it is a strange map. I'm just making a coffee for the wife, so I will be back in just a moment. Let's have a look at the... I'm actually sort of interested in the original map now. Let's look at, I'll be right back. I am going to dart off again in a second, just because I need to go get the coffee made. Okay, sure. Have a look. Just interested in seeing that. Whee! Actually fell. So I actually fell through the ceiling there because it's not been made. Yeah, see, these aisles here have gone. So now that is actually right for Lich King. All right, I'll be back again in a few minutes. And just we're gonna make a coffee for my delightful wife. Oh, very nice. All right, guys, give me a sec. I wonder whether anyone's even here anymore. Is it even worth still going? Alright, I am back. Apparently we've got 18 viewers on YouTube, that's quite cool. Ember, Blinky, how are you doing? You alright? Alright, so we effectively got a raw, well, no, look, we've got AzerothCore running. and we are doing that via compiling it manually using the built-in instructions. It was pretty sort of clear there that there's definitely a issue with is it even worth going? It's a very extensive. Exactly, it is a very extensive question. I just sort of think that it's quite hard. That was quite hard to make that work, and I sort of feel for people who really want to live that nostalgic. Oh no! It changed both of the texts on my thing. I just noticed that. Yeah. Join Discord. Join Discord. Join Discord. That means that one says now join Discord. That's stupid. Does that delete both? No, it doesn't. Alright, let's do a new text. I'm going to need that for later, so I may as well create it now. I thought that was quite hard to overall get in place. If you want to relive your nostalgic childhood moments back in WoW, that was a pain in the bum to get going. So you can go and play classic WoW, of course, but then if you can't afford to do that, that becomes a monetary issue. Not everyone can afford to just jump on there. I won't be right back. I'm actually going to be right here. And so setting up AzerothCore makes sense for a lot of people because they know that they can just sort of come and set it up for free. They can get over the client for free. Let's be honest, that's not legal, but they can do it if they want to. And they can play, they can relive those memories. But that was quite a difficult process to go through, let's be honest. So what I've done is I've made an Ansible playbook, which is still sort of relatively in its, not in its infancy, like it works actually quite well, but it certainly requires, it still requires some knowledge, some systems knowledge, and I do state this in the repository. I say that, you know, this doesn't, it's not really a tool for beginners. It doesn't sort of replace the need to understand how how Linux works and managing a Linux operating system. There's still definitely some complexities to it, but it definitely makes it much easier than what we've just sort of observed there. So I don't know. I thought that was a bit difficult myself. I do have a WoW server. If you want, I can blow away this one. I can turn off. How about we turn everything off, and then how about I shut everything down, and then we use Ansible to set it up again? Would that be, is that interesting? I think it's interesting. Let's do it. Let's do that. Let's go. Hey, whoa. Okay, there we go. So the WoW servers, I heard it in the background go bleh. Yeah, you have been disconnected, boy. All right, let's cd to home on this server. We got AzerothCore there. If we do sudo systemctl stop auth server, bad password on this box, we are in. So now let's have a look at a good old sudo netstat. We can see that we got MySQL running, and we have. I know I'm going to blow away the VM actually, because I want to show I effectively want to demonstrate a full-blown run of it. Just make that font bigger. I'm always wary that you can't actually see the font in the terminal. I think it's readable, right? I think if you're on a mobile phone it would be hard, but I think if you're on a desktop it's probably readable. Alright, let's go ahead and go to proxmox. Should I yeet and delete the VM? Yes. Shut down. That being said, I've got to go through all of the bloody Ubuntu install again, but I sort of do want to just do it from scratch. I really need a Ubuntu template, don't I? Blinky is absolutely correct. Or was it Amber? Someone mentioned cloud init templates. Alright, should I just, I mean, if I leave MySQL in place, I guess the app will just run. That's actually, I'm going to run it, I'm going to delete it all. I'm going to SSH back in, and then I'm going to delete it all. And I'm going to run the Ansible playbook against it, because I actually want to see how well it copes with that. That'll actually be, you know what, that'll actually be a test for the Ansible playbook itself. to be perfectly honest with you. So let's move over our hard work here. Let's call that manual. And let's also go to system, and we've got our world server, and that's off. Let's delete these two. Done. Done. Password. Wrong password. I mean, how did I get bad password wrong? Bad. I guess I'm just bad at bad password. So I guess if we remove the code over, remove the server systemd file, we've got MySQL running. I guess I'd have to do drop those databases. Drop a.core auth. It shouldn't have much of a impact. Those yeah, I guess it will, because it does go in and reconfigure. But that should have been a test for the playbook as well. How well does it cope with an existing database? That's a big database. Have you guys seen how wide the tables are in a.core World? Like the creature template, it's like enormous. Alright, a.core characters. It goes deep, baby. It sure does. Alright, so now what we do is that should be visible through documents, Git, Academy, AzerothCore, Ansible. Right, okay. So here we are in the playbook. So it's a repository that contains an Ansible code base, including some documentation. I threw some docs in here around game mastering stuff as well. That was quite interesting, like adding items, modifying your money, setting skills, teleporting around, bringing a character, going to a character, bringing a character to you, teleporting, modifying your various speeds. This macro is pretty good to just flip GM on, flip fly on, modify speed, and take GM back off again. So you can just get up and fly, and then that obviously turns it off and resets everything. Cheat gives you everything. Learn, you learn everything. You can remove quest IDs from yourself, so if you're developing a quest and you want to repeat it, you can remove it from yourself. And then various things around NPCs. I'm still going with this. I've got flying here again. That's good. I know my own documentation so well that I've replicated various bits of content. Very nice. So the idea behind this is that you create this VMV here. That should be in the Git ignore. It is. You create a Python virtual environment. So let's run through it. Let's actually run through it. So I'm gonna remove the Python virtual environment, and then we'll go through it. So the idea here is that you're using Python 3. You're gonna run venv as a module, and you're gonna give it the path venv, which will create a Python virtual environment. And then what you do is you activate that virtual environment so that you're running Python 3 inside of a containerized location. You're not manipulating your system level Python 3 installation. You're dealing with effectively a containerized sort of like private copy of it. Then most repositories that are Python related will have a what's it called, hang on, I don't have a requirements.txt file. That's interesting. Okay, well we can just do pip install Ansible, because I'm pretty certain that is the only dependency that we need. So when we do pip install Ansible, because we've activated the virtual environment, we're going to be doing that inside of the Python virtual environment itself, so we won't be manipulating the system at all. And so if we blow away that VMV, it doesn't affect anything. I should probably still have a requirements file, just so it sort of locks it down. Inventory.txt, now we'll come to that in a second. That's a good catch, well spotted. Inventory.txt is actually the inventory file that you use to inform Ansible about where your servers are. So in this case, 192.168.89.35 is one of our servers. So that's one of the things that we have to change. So as per the README, we come in and we install Ansible in an virtual environment. We then configure the inventory, as you just saw, inventory.txt. We go ahead and we change that to be the remote IP. I've just done that. And then we execute the dependencies, but we need to do this as a user that can run as root and set up the box. So that's our Superman user. And we also need to do -K in order to tell Ansible, not only do you need to connect as that user, but also
when you try and do sudo, you're going to get asked the password. I'm going to give you that password ahead of time. So Ansible playbook, we're going to do dependencies, we'll -I inventory, inventory.txt, -u Superman, and then -K. So connect to all of the servers in the inventory.txt file. We just have the one as the Superman user. And when you try and use become, which is effectively the same way as almost sort of saying sudo in Ansible speak, you're going to get asked the password. I need to give you that password. That's bad password. So that is the Superman user who has sudo access in order to connect to the root user and perform commands. So let's see why we can't. Superman wanted to run to 35. Oh, okay. So it tried to use SSH-based authentication, SSH key-based authentication instead of password-based authentication. So that's okay. What we'll do is we'll come over to our user, and then we'll go authorized keys. Probably it is empty, and then I will get my ID. I'll get my public key. And then I will cat that into authorized files, and then we will kill that, and then we will try that one more time. So we'll give it the become password again, and then it should SSH in fine. So now it's going to install all of the AzerothCore dependencies. It's also going to create systemd files, different to how the guys at AzerothCore have set them up with those shell scripts. And so as you can see here, it's enabled these services, but it's stopped them as well. So it's enabled them for starting on reboot, but it's also stopped them. We don't want them to start right now. It's also done a few things around uploading SQL files as well. So if we go to roles, AzerothCore dependencies, we go to tasks. If you go to main, it runs packages. So it installs these packages for us, which is sort of everything we saw before. But I've added some nice little niceties here, like unzip, so that we can unzip that map file, the map data that you showed earlier, Blinky. Net tools for doing like netstat, which I like to do. Then we run user, and so what that does is goes in and it creates our AzerothCore user. But what it also does is it effectively adds the authorization, SSH authorization key to that user as well. And I'll show you where that is in a second. So the way Ansible works is when you run your inventory and you've got this all here, this is a group. This is called a group. You can set environment, you can set variables for a group, and you can see I have a folder at the top called group vars. Ansible will look there for a file called the group name.yml, and we have our group name of all, so it's looking for all.yml. And then inside of here we can completely configure how we want this server to behave. So it's going to install to the Azeroth, the user, AzerothCore user that it creates, which can be configured. It's going to create AzerothCore-Wrath of the Lich King. It's going to create a folder there, and that's where it's going to put all of the source code. That's the user's going to create. I could change that to be whatever I want. There's the SSH key. The one you just saw me add gets added to that user as well. And then as you can see, there's all kinds of stuff here about what we need to, how we configure it. So the realm list IP, we can change this to 35. The realm list IP, the local IP, we can go 35 again. These ports don't change, and I'm happy for it to be realm list ID 1. The world server binds to this. That's wrong. Oh, I've just literally put the world server binds to this over and over again, like an absolute mental case. Let's get rid of those. That doesn't make any sense. So the source code, source, the folder name. This will be used for the symlink to the current live version. I don't think I actually use that anymore. Why isn't the realm list IP set to the IP in the inventory? Is it not? 192.168.89.35. 192.168.89.35. It's a good catch, but they are set right. It wasn't before. Oh, I see what's happening. You've probably just got a slight delay on the stream. As in, oh, why isn't it done automatically? Because, I mean, you could do that. I could grab the inventory. You're right. I could grab the IP from the inventory, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the IP that the person wants to bind to. What you can actually do is you can actually just do that. The reason I specify a very specific IP is A, IPv6 can sometimes cause issues, and B, I'm just more of a deterministic person. I like to know exactly how something is configured. But you can totally do that, or you can pull out. There's no way I'm going to remember the variable now, but you should probably be able to pull out like Ansible.inventory. Oops, Daisy. You can probably pull out like Ansible.inventory.ip or something here, right? But I don't know. I just hard fix it. I like to sort of be very deterministic and very clear about how something is configured, especially given that you only really need to do it once, and then you're sort of just up and running. You don't really need to do it again, right? You just go and then it's up and running and everything's good. What are we here? How are we looking? 20 users on YouTube, really? Now that's amazing. So we've put on a source that's not used. The database we're going to have localhost because they're going to be running on the same system. So we're just going to have it bind to localhost, and it's going to use these credentials. And then there's other things you can do. One thing that my Ansible playbook lets you do as well is specify modules that you want to install up front. So these will be downloaded for you and compiled in. It only supports really simple modules that don't require sort of like SQL updates and or patches to AzerothCore. So Ansible default IPv4 address. So you totally could use that. That's your choice. That's why I've put in the README there. You need to know Ansible, and it's not really a beginner friendly tool, but you can choose to do that if you know how to do that. I like to keep it nice and simple and sort of know. I don't like too much magic. I sort of think it'll work, but if it doesn't work, then it becomes hard to debug. I don't know. I'm just weird like that. So that's how that looks. So it's gone in and done the dependencies. So let's go to main. So it did the package, did the user, it did the sudos file. So I am pretty certain template, yes, etc. sudos.d. We pretty much allow the AzerothCore user that we're going to create. We are going to permit that user. So I'm just going to put my my light up a bit. I feel like it's a bit. I feel like that's a bit low. Yeah. See, that's like 27%. I felt like that was a bit low. I'm looking at it in OBS, and I just look like a little goth in a shadow. So this should allow the AzerothCore user to use systemctl to manipulate the auth server and the world server. There's ways of making that a bit neater. I just copy pasted them. I think I need to test that actually. I'm pretty certain it does work. Sudos file, and then we run our MySQL playbook, which gets it uploads the dba.sql file, and we can have a look at that dba.sql file. This one drops the existing. So dropping is a create user, identify, grant all privileges. Okay, so that logs into MySQL and grants our privileges for us. And then I can't remember if I then have the SQL MySQL. I run MySQL. I don't run. Oh, hang on. Yeah. We now delete that file. Yeah, that's okay. So we go to main. We do MySQL, and then we do systemd. Yeah, we're not using. We do move that in place, I think. And then we put in the systemd file. So all I do here is, because I've got all these variables, because I know essentially where you're going to be installing everything. I can preemptively create this file ahead of time for you, because you need root to do it. Now, I don't know if you know this, but you can actually run systemd file unit files as a user, but they don't survive. Logging out that user. The user has to be logged in, so it's almost like screen but not, like it just dies as soon as you log out. So it's very silly, and I wasn't able to find out a way of backgrounding it. I don't think it's actually possible. I think the idea is that it just allows users to run service files for their active session to make something easier. You can see I've created a bit of hardening around these executables in order to obviously secure them down a little bit more. The thing with AzerothCore is it's a lot of C++ code. I highly doubt it's had any form of security auditing at all, and so I have no idea if there's anything even remotely in the way of exploiting this thing. But who knows? And I just call the binaries directly. I don't do any shell scripting, and I don't use screen at all. Alright, so where did we get to? Let's go to README. Alright, so now we've done the dependencies. Now we run the all playbook, and we run that as the normal user, AzerothCore. The same inventory, but we're running all.yml. I might rename all.yml to AzerothCore.yml because it's sort of misleading, because it does a few preemptive tasks and then it runs Azeroth and AzerothCore database. There's the user level systemd stuff that I was doing, but again, unfortunately was unable to get it to actually run when the user logged out, so that was a bit of a shame. So we'll connect as the Azeroth. We'll connect to the Azeroth user, and now we will download and almost basically do everything else that we've just done manually. We will now do, but it'll do it automatically for us. It's going to check out the Azeroth code, and it's going to do a whole lot of stuff. How do you, so far, looking at this, do you think that this is easier? For you personally. Like, if you were looking at this, you'd be like, oh, I think I'll just stick to the AzerothCore documentation. Or do you think that this is actually easier? I think this is easier personally, but then I know Ansible well enough that I could that I find this easy. But I think you'd need to know Ansible. But I think that's okay, because I think people with operational background should really be the only people running WoW private servers. I know that sounds really elitist, but I just think that I think it's going to be a good experience for end users if someone's just stumbling forward trying to set this up. And it sort of works but doesn't. Does that make sense? Am I being an ass? Am I being an asshole? Studio mode. Discord. OBS studio mode. I like it. I like it, Gavna. So Azeroth, so tasks. So plenty of tasks in here. So we pull our source. We pull down the modules I mentioned earlier. Again, it only really supports basic modules. Although, that being said, it does look for Lua scripts, but that's a custom thing that I've implemented for my own modules, for my World of Warcraft modules. It'll look for Lua scripts, and it will load them up for you. And then it copies them over, and then let's go to main, then it does the build, and then it does maps. So we go and pull that file. If we go to the group vars, pretty certain this is where, there's the zip file there, AzerothCore map data URL. That's where it pulls that zip file from, and then runs for us. So now we're actually compiling. This takes a little while. It takes a little while to do that. What are you? Why are you over there? What? Close that window. Hopefully that doesn't. Yeah. Okay. Great. I just had an extra shell session, and I'm like, what are you? Summary, where are we? So we're using 4 gig of RAM. That'll probably slowly creep up. That CPU usage will probably get smashed any second now as we compile. Automation is great, but I tend to say do it manually once before you put all your faith in the automation. I couldn't agree more. I think that you should have a relatively keen understanding of what the automation is doing for you. I remember a tutor of mine at uni when I was doing econometrics said. We were using some software, and he said the software has a lot of functions built in to do this for you. However, until you can do the math yourself, you shouldn't really use those functions, because you've got to sort of understand what it is that those functions are actually doing, right? I'm going to go and have a look at this. I want to check out this Turtle Wow Unreal thing again. Yeah, sorry. Oh, can you hear that? What's the volume like? Is it really loud?
Still clinging to the old ways, eh? I guess it works. Occasionally. But why settle for the technology of the ancients when the future awaits? Welcome to the dawn of the new age, where legacy meets innovation. Here we make the magic happen. With just a sprinkle of ethereal dust and a bit of help from cutting-edge technology, we explore endless possibilities. Doubtful? Well then, see for yourselves. Revitalized for the modern era, Turtle WoW 2.0 now runs smoothly on modern devices, ensuring an immersive and high-performance experience. And for those special few who cherish the original essence or want to try something new, we've got you both covered. Turtle WoW 2.0 offers a choice between the beloved vanilla graphics and enhanced visuals, powered by dynamic shadows, superior texturing, and more, thanks to the Unreal Engine.
I don't know. It does look
Even
good,
our
but
Android-loving friends can join in on the fun.
that's a good
Embrace
way of
both
looking
the
at
old
it.
and new, with
Whether it's
full
useful or
add-on
not is
support
the
and
Android support.
groundbreaking modding capabilities, allowing us to expand the world like never before. Enhanced, robust anti-cheat measures, Turtle WoW 2.0 renders all previous hacking and botting tools ineffective, guaranteeing a fair
Nice.
and immersive gameplay experience.
Pretty good. Still,
Dive into a vast
I don't know
world
why you
of
can't hear it
stories,
by Discord.
where every turn brings discovery and excitement. The journey awaits. Warm
On YouTube you can.
and new. Welcome, one and all.
I wonder, I think I know what it might be. Very cool. I just want to test something while that's probably still compiling. Oh, it blew up in my face. Okay. That's actually quite rare. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Did I disconnect? Oh, I disconnected. Hang on. That's interesting. Standard out. Alright, that's probably because the system's littered with shit. So I'm talking to you, and the audio that you should be getting, you're getting my microphone, but you should also be getting the audio. Okay. I assume that right now you can't hear me, unless you're on YouTube. Yeah. Okay. So you can hear me again now. So that's because my microphone is going through Discord, but it's also going through OBS. But OBS is also streaming my desktop audio, and I'm also using the virtual camera, which should be giving Discord the audio. But then maybe it's must just be video only. So how do I get you? So I guess the only way I can get audio on here would be to show my desktop. So I guess if I was to... Let me switch my camera to my normal camera, which probably won't work because it's being used. So what if I share my screen? But then I can only share one thing at a time. I can share the entire screen, but it's enormous. I'll have to work on that, because that means that you're not going to be able to get desktop stuff inside of Discord. I don't know. That's something to work out. Let's see what the hell went on here. Went wrong here. No get. What's this? Source. Illuna push entities. No. Don't tell me they've broken AzerothCore main again. Oh my god. I've got a feeling that it's pulled the latest down. But hang on, we pulled the latest down. Oh no, but we didn't put Illuna in. Alright, let's go to... let's take out Illuna. That worked the other day, actually, but I've got a feeling that maybe... yikes. I wonder if Illuna's broken or something's happened in... Might not work right now. Yeah, I think that's probably the issue. That's a shame. Do you know why? This is why I want to make pre-compiled binaries with it built in for now. So the Ansible playbook will give you an option between compiling or pre-built with the World of Warcraft modules in there. But I think definitely not compiling every time is probably really good. They've been trying to optimize it in a lot more. Yeah, nice. Okay, that's a good thing, I guess. You know, can't complain with that as an output. It has done that to me in the past. I remember when they broke main on AzerothCore, and I was like, come on guys, like, you're not using pull requests and any form of, like, you're not doing any form of testing at all. Like, I didn't even have to do anything. I remember, like, literally bringing down main and just compiling it using their own instructions was broken, and it's like, couldn't you literally just run a shell script? It would be cool if Solarcraft plus the client was all pre-compiled into a single binary. Shame that's not allowed. You couldn't put it into a single binary per se, but that is also something that's on my mind. What I could do is create a installate, like, you'd have to bring your own client, but I could quite easily, you'd have to bring your own client. I can't give you the client, but I can definitely give you an installer that installs MySQL Server in a portable mode, brings in pre-compiled Windows binaries for the world server and the auth server, compiled with the Solarcraft stuff in, and then puts them all on disk, and then starts a small window where you can say begin Solarcraft, click, and then that runs the auth MySQL, the auth server, then the world server, sets it all to run on 127001, and then tells you how to then configure your realm list, and then you run it and you just have Solarcraft running locally. That's definitely possible. It just uses a lot of RAM. So I'd have to use the mode of Azeroth that doesn't load everything into RAM, and then I think it uses about 3 or 4 gig, which is actually not really a lot given what modern games do. Your Solarcraft used the player bots too. It doesn't, but I mean, it's definitely something I'm willing to explore. I've heard the only thing I don't like about the player bots is that you have to use the guy, I can't remember the guy's name who made the player bots, but you have to use a patch. You have to use a patch version of his AzerothCore, which isn't the end of the world, but it's also not really ideal. It would be nice if it was just a patch file, but I don't think there is one. Maybe I could make one. Maybe I could use Git to make a patch file for me, but you have to use this patch version to get them working. And the bots they're meant to be okay. They're meant to be pretty good even in PvP, actually. In fact, they're meant to be quite good in PvP, from what I've heard. We can have a play around with that. It'd be quite interesting to see. My Ansible here would actually pull down his version. I just pointed at it and it'll pull it down. Yes, it is a bit different because the bots need to be so tied into the system. Absolutely, yeah. The AI, anything that's related to like NPC, artificial intelligence, needs to be integrated into the core quite tightly. All right, let's have a look. What did we just watch? Learn more. These guys have been going for a long time, hey? Like a real long time. And it is so well polished. This website is crazy good. Like, this is no sort of like, I feel like you sort of want to go, this is a small operation. Is that a picture there? Oh, it is a picture there, yeah, okay. Wasn't going to open 1v1 2 to 9 level brackets, nice. I've done a few pull requests that has made some improvements with it too. Wow, nice. Good job. What we got here? New battleground, Sunny Glade Valley. Really? Oh, that's going to require a custom client then. So Total WoW, I assume then has its own version of the client then. Or they give you patches. God damn, that's loud. All right. Cute. I wonder where they built that. I wonder if they reused that. There's an area that's got like. Have you guys seen the unused battleground in 335? It's quite a large, substantial area. I was going to use it for something. I can't remember where it is though. That's to try and look. That's my friend where that was, but what was it called? Let's see if I can find that again. It was actually really, it was huge, like a big area, 2 massive things with a huge amount of land between it, branched off. It's got a few bugs in it though. There's like a small path you can go down, and it's like unfinished and it immediately breaks if you try and go down it, which is not ideal. So you could use server-side game objects to block it, like barricade it, and I think if you pulled that off, it is essentially like an entire map you could use. In fact, let me while that's running, because it's running on a different box, if I data realm list, if I jump on 28, let's have a look. Oh, what's it called though? I'm trying to tell you about this thing and I can't remember what the friggin' place is called. Let's go WoW 335A hidden unused PvP battleground map. I just can't remember the coordinates to it. Okay, I've made some images available. Accurate. Right, calendar. What are these things? I'm gonna reread that. That looks like it might have some juice in it. God damn, what's it called? Unused. Let me see if I can find it in my history. Unused map. Oh no. So I can find Doctelli. Also, have you been to? Let me have a look at this place. I'm just looking at various. Oops. This is it. A Shara crater. Have you guys seen this before? That gets rid of the chat window. That's handy. Do you mean a Shara crater by chance? Yeah, nice one, Galactic. Sorry, I had the chat window out of thingy. But yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I meant. Never have. Pretty cool. Yeah, it. Oh, I just got rid of the chat window, so of course I can't type in GM commands. What a moron. Fly on. I usually have my macros, but I think I got rid of them by mistake. So this area in here is bugged. This area in here is bugged. So you can come in and move around, but if you come up here, I think it's this one. Yeah, so you hit a block here, you've hit an invisible wall here, and then I think there's a point as well. Yeah, and then you get trapped. It's like sort of you get locked in, and then see that. Then you can see it on the mini map actually. You sort of enter like there's like a thing over there. It's here. Yeah, it's like a death realm thing. That's actually also almost like a sub-map. So what you would need to do is barricade in this section here. You would need to barricade that part in there with game objects if you didn't want to modify the client. And so you'd have these like headless dragon things here, which is very cool. I think if you were to barricade the shortest point in, like the thinnest point, like here maybe, with something like a wall. There's a game object that's just a big wall. The rest of it is actually really, really good, and I think pretty complete. You could actually create a lot of quests and content inside of here. As you can see, in fact, if I map it, yeah, there's no map. Still going. This is one end of it. There's these big bases. This is the big horde base up here. As you can see, a bit blank. Weird how it has. Oh, that would be Blood Elf, I guess. I was going to say, why would you have that in the. Maybe not Blood Elf, it's something. That's Night Elves, that's a bit strange. But each end of the map has like a base at the end of it. But you can see it's got all these bridges, all of these middle points as well, like meeting points in the middle, these buildings. And then there's actually a small. If you go over here, this is where these sort of join together. So all of this, all over here, all over there. Sorry, it's a bit dark for me to actually see my own screen. maybe a bit dark for you too, I'm not sure. I think it's because it's night time. How do I change the daylights again? There's a way of doing that. AzerothCore gym command change daylight. You can change the weather, and I can't remember what it is. I think you can change it, can't you? Daylight? No. Weather, do we change weather type status? Weather type can be 1 for rain, 2 for status can be 2. I thought you could change the time. Maybe you can't. I know there's a module, I know there's an add-on for the client you can. That'll do that for you, but never mind. Anyway, so you can come through here, and then there's a bottleneck here, hence why it's PvP, right? Because there's this like sort of, you control this midpoint. And then you come through, and then there's like this bridge that leads over here. Leads us this path, and then there's like a dead cave, doesn't go anywhere, cave entrance that hasn't been completed, but at least it's blocked off and doesn't like sort of do anything stupid. Alpha Isle of Conquest, maybe. I never did the Isle of Conquest actually. It could be. You could be right. It goes all the way up here too, and then there is a cave in it. I think you can actually go, no, not that one, there is actually a cave you can go in. I'll show you. So you come over here and there's like random bits of like infrastructure where you can put like NPCs, because I'm interested in PvE more than anything. And then you got the other base at the other end. This is a bit bare bones. I don't think you can actually get up to this, I don't think. So you'd have to do a bit of work to add some game objects in. I don't think you can actually get to that easily. I think it's designed to just be up on a hill. And the idea is that you're around here as a player. You can get up to here though. And then you've got like your central command thing. Put a boss in there if you wanted to. But there's also like where's it gone? That's the dead cave. I think it's in the middle. In the middle section. There it is. Is it here? Yeah, there's like these like little hut things where you can put like you know, wildlife, quote unquote wildlife. What do they call those fur things? And then you come back to this point. You got your dragons. You got that underground water bit down there. It's quite a well-established map with almost everything ready to go, minus. Oh yeah, here's the cave. I can't remember the name of the NPCs that have that sort of like mull around here. They look like bears. I always forget the name of them. But you got this fairly complete little cave structure here. There's like water and blah blah, and you know. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Are we compiled? We failed again. So I reckon. Oh, what a dumbass. The thingy will still be there, won't it? The bloody module will still be there. On the disk. Because even though I removed it from my freaking playbook, it doesn't mean it's gonna God damn it, let's start that all again. Bloody hell. Alright, but yeah. Alright, that'll go again. God damn it, unless that just, did that just put it back in place again? No, okay. Yeah, I just think it's a really cool map that's sort of like, that's the thing with that. One of the things that really inspired me about sort of World of Solarcraft was just how empty Azeroth is. Like even just like Goldshire and the human areas, you can clearly tell that there's been like they're pretty much the first zones they created, because these zones aren't too bare or too sparse, but like going along the roads, like it is pretty sparse. Someone really clever could make a really cool zone from that. I agree. I don't want to do any client-side stuff, but I do agree that you could, if you had the energy to do it. But I just think that AzerothCore as a whole is sort of, sorry, Azeroth I should say, is sort of very empty. I think there's just some of these zones are just so like empty, and there's so much space that can be used. for quests. I'm bringing because what I would like to do is bring NPCs out of dungeons and into the world. That's one of the things I want to do. I want to make it so that you don't have to go into the dungeon to fight certain creatures. Just going to move some windows around, actually. I don't know why, but I sort of just want the... Go over there, I don't know why. Yeah. There's a mod that has random boss events in the world. Is there really? That's really cool. I'm gonna move them back, actually. That's really interesting. Okay. I'm just looking at the way the windows are arranged, sorry. I actually think maybe an Aluna script. Really? Can you find the link for me? I'd appreciate that. Let me keep this open in the background. Oh, where's my WoW client gone? I think that I wanted to implement a hunting log. So like a daily and a weekly quest where you go and speak to an NPC. There's a random series of quests. This is where like AI comes into it, like being able to generate that dynamically. And then there's a hunting quest where you get like an NPC that can drop something. And I wasn't going to do that via, not too heavily through modules, but just straight SQL into the database that creates the NPC and creates the daily quests. But the SQL is generated nightly. How dare you? Is generated nightly so that so that I have a system that talks to an LLM that's aware of the structure of Daisy's YAML. Tell it to generate a hunting quest. It gets better and better at doing that, and then it outputs the YAML. It can even just output the SQL, and then you get that in the database, restart the world server in the middle of the night, and then you have just like all of these quests that are just being dynamically AI driven every single night. I don't know. I think that would be pretty cool. I think that would be a pretty cool project. I'm just trying to think whether I use like DeepSeek R1 for that or something. It doesn't seem like quite the right LLM for it. That's not really an LLM, isn't it? Isn't it like a reinforcing chain thing? I don't really get it. I don't really know AI all that well. How are we doing on the old 19 users? We're very nice. But yeah, that's just where I sort of feel with Azeroth. I just think it's such a massive open world with, I don't know, like I think in the starter zones I do feel like it's fairly well balanced, like all these areas, but I think it's almost as if they've sort of, I don't know, it's almost as if like these were the first sort of zones that came, so they got a lot of attention. What are you? Okay, now signs this year new. Oh, okay. Oh, is it Luna? That's interesting. It's the fishing derby, Darkfire, Luna Festival. Oh, it's the Luna Festival. Right. Okay. It begins on the 22nd. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I love that even with AzerothCore, you get a hold of the all of these events. I think that's really cool. Geha, Lunarscript's Blob World are having a hard time finding the other. That's okay. Yeah. Alright. World Boss, Dark Saw. Local Speech. Phase 2. Oh, actually, is it the actual completely custom creatures with custom AI as well? I thought you meant it just brought like raid bosses or something, but these are actual unique raid bosses. These are actually unique. Yeah, actually unique AI and everything, right? Just for anyone who's on YouTube watching, who isn't aware, I don't look at the YouTube chat, the super chat. And I don't look at the Twitch chat either. I actually have no idea whether Twitch even has any viewers. I shit you not, I think Twitch is just like such a overbloated dead platform. It's such garbage. I am an associate on there though, so it does mean I can receive donations, but I don't really care about that. I'm just streaming to it because it's free to do. But I don't know. But YouTube apparently has 15 users, 14 users now. If you are watching on YouTube and you're trying to like, oh, he's on the chat, he's not in the chat, pretty certain A, the chat is disabled, and B, I'm not looking at it anyway. So you will need to come over to the Discord server. There should be a link in the description. Bosses and shells adds more. Yeah. Dark Souls soul fragments. That's pretty comprehensive. 250 lines. Register creature event. Dark Souls on combat enter. Yeah, that's a full on. Let's have a. What's this? Idle. On emo, on died, on leave combat, on spawn, on enter combat. That's, what does it do? If target then, creature.remove events, remove aura, ghastly, add aura to itself, I guess. Add aura, creature, aura shadow. Set react state, react aggressive, okay. I will freeze you from within until all that remains is an icy husk. Oh, that's mean. Why would you do that to someone? Play distance sound, speech freeze, sound intro. 55 honey, that's the guy's name. World boss. Yeah, nice, mate. Oh no! Oh, it copied the whole text. Ha! That's what he said. 55 honey's got a lot going on, I would imagine it's not. Oh, he has actually archived it 3 years ago. This Reaper serves showcase. Which got open source, I call event scripts. Well, event script, okay. Oh, it doesn't do anything. Nothing in it. What's that one? This one does. Scripts. Query points, yeah, that's a bit dead as well. Doesn't really have much in it. Right, so our compilation worked now because the model Luna was indeed broken. So that's not my fault. Although I could pin it, but again, this is sort of why I want precompiled binaries and a CI pipeline running in GitHub that just compiles this for Linux. Windows is a little bit different. I'll be frank, it is an absolute pain in the nuts, but I think that's also a solved problem. I think the AzerothCore team have already solved that because I think they have some CI work done, but they just don't really, in my opinion, I don't think they really utilize it very well. So I'll probably cannibalize that. But this compilation process and how long it takes is definitely why I want to start having pre-made binaries that you can just run. Unfortunately, though, it comes across as a repack to the AzerothCore community, and they don't really like repacks. I'm like, okay, but it's not. It's just your code compiled, so I don't really get why. They don't like ban you from the community or anything, but they can be a little bit sort of touchy about it. Which is sort of odd. I mean, I guess if I just put a Luna in, am I really making a repack? I mean, really? If I was adding in like 15 modules and customizing the database, then they are hard stop versus it because people include in malware. Yeah, that's very true. I guess if you sort of don't really know what you're doing as an end user, then you could get shafted. I totally agree with that. Alright, so that just went ahead and did everything. And so master now contains our installation, so it's a much easier path. The Ansible playbook configured to go to AzerothCore, ref of the Lich King, into the master, and then if we go in here we have our bin with all of our stuff in it, but it also has in here our data, and it also has Lua scripts as well. There obviously aren't any, but that's for Model Luna, which currently isn't compiling in, so that's nice, thanks for that. But here we are. So if we come back here and go to world server, etc. world server, and then we go console, we can see that the console's like automatically disabled. That's the default. We enable it, we run the world server, and then that goes and applies all of the SQL and builds out all of the world database. We'll need to do the same for the auth server as well, but we don't need to run that one manually. We can just run that via systemd. This will apply everything, build up the database, and then we can create an account or several accounts, and then we can then switch that console back off, and then we can run world server via systemd, and that will spin up and just work. And then you won't have a console, so you won't be able to do that fancy screen stuff. I must admit that is quite nice, but I sort of think if you need to be going into I'm actually shocked that there aren't projects that make that easier to do, rather than having to go into the console for. I know you can get like registration UIs and web UIs and things, but I'm surprised there aren't command line tools that just let you interface with an API. I'm surprised someone hasn't bothered to crack that one. I think there is a REST API mod as well, but I've never really looked into it to see what it actually does. But anyway, I don't really access the console all that much because the idea is that it's solo, right? You're not going to be going in and creating hundreds of accounts every few moments. You're going to create one for yourself and then you're just going to play the game. Applying. So much SQL. So much SQL, man. Hundreds of thousands, probably millions of lines. I should count all the SQL lines. Not complete statements, but just lines in all of those files. Because obviously a statement can be split across multiple lines. Still, I mean, look, with the malware thing, I just sort of think, wouldn't they have control over that? Aren't they the ones doing the compiling? I don't know. I guess you could sneak it in the sense of, you know, someone could manipulate the pipeline or manipulate the code with a backdoor, but then that backdoor, if they manipulate the code with a backdoor, that backdoor's there for anyone who compiles it, so it doesn't really, they I don't know, I just feel as though they could just do nightly releases, they could just push out a binary, even if they just did the Linux one and only supported Linux. We saw before how relatively easy that was to do, and you can see that I've already automated it, except for the Illuna issue, but there's nothing really I can do about that. If you pull some source, likely not deemed a repack. Agreed. Account create. Spell create. Right, we're going to go with Mike. We're going to go with our favourite password. Account set GM level Mike 3-1. So now I kill this. Kills the server. I do a vim. I flip that back to 0, and then I go sudo. What was that? Oh, it's the bell in Brill. I was like, what the restart load server. And so as you can see, the system, oh, because I didn't use sudo. How dumb am I, mate? Password for AzerothCore. I don't know. Forget it anyway. Alright, so now we can look at the status of it. And that should just be coming up absolutely fine. So, single player challenge modes. Challenge mode. That's interesting. Isn't that Anki's module? Challenge modes. Interesting. Oh, hardcore. Yeah. So I think the hardcore. Yeah, okay. I wanted the hardcore from this. That was another thing I was thinking of adding. Actually, I like it, and I like the semi-hardcore. I think that's really, really good. I think that's actually really clever. Some of the things like self-crafted. Oh my god, yeah. Iron Man mode is like crazy. Oh god, imagine getting to like 80 and then dying on the Iron Man rules or something. Oh my god. I can't do hardcore, man. I don't know. People who play that are just... that's a great picture. People who play like that are just absolutely mad. Do not die. Well, yeah, obviously. No gear higher than white. Oh my god, that is mental. Break this rule and your character is red flagged. Talents are allowed. No elixirs, potions, or flasks. No primary professions allowed. Break this. What the fuck? There is some hooks being added to AC to help make hardcore rules easier. Holy moly. Yeah, I noticed that there's a very slow sort of... I actually kind of like that, just not being the browser window like that. It's quite good. Yeah, I'm sort of surprised at how little support there is natively for hardcore. Weird, but yeah, I love. Yeah, I do love some of these modes. Players who die will lose all one equipment. Does this require? I can't remember if my mod installer will automatically work with mod, let's have a look, it's called mod challenge modes. Okay, oops, mod challenge modes. Comes from that git right there, mate, and we'll go version master. Okay, it puts a thing near starting graveyards to enable them. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's test my playbook. I don't recall whether or not it detects the new module and does a recompile. So we're going to find out. And I can't remember if update module, so it skipped update mode, include task for downloading modules. Oh no, it fetched mod challenge mode. Okay, you'll have to add something to your world server config too. Ah, do you really? Yeah, alright, it's doing a recompile because it's detected that the modules did change. That's okay, it'll do a recompile, but I don't think I ever configure it to restart the server automatically. I don't think, anyway. Hosts all become pre-tasks. AzerothCore database. I'm pretty certain I never ever restart. I don't think I do. It's just a setting already you have. It's just a setting already you'll have to enable. Okay. Alright, thanks for your help on this, by the way. Appreciate it. This thing. Oh, you mean the config file. I have to rename the file from dist to conf, is that what you mean? Please note that this module uses player settings to store enable challenges, so please ensure enable player settings is set to 1 on your world server. Right, okay. Alright. Well, I mean, ultimately I can set that ahead of time, right? Which is the nice thing about player settings. Enable player setting options. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. Give me it, yo. Okay. Easy enough with Ansible. Yeah, that's totally easy enough with Ansible. I mean, so one thing I don't really do is I don't use. I don't know if you've ever done this or how you feel about this, but you know what, I'm gonna see if I can. I can't remember if that window opens behind me. I'm pretty certain it does. It's getting hot in here now. I never use Ansible to construct a config file from using a template and from variables. I never do that. I'll create a template file and I'll insert, because if you use the template module, I'll insert variables into it if I need to. But I always just copy the default config from an app, and then I just plug it. I just have the file and I manage it from there. And I'll use variables, but that's about as far as I'll go. I find that I never ever do it the other way because I don't know. Oh, here we go. Run custom add cost SQL files. Oh, it did that. Okay. But did it change? Let's see if it got the config. Oh no, like you don't really need to use sed. What you can do is you can that should compile really quickly. You can use Ansible templates to the world server config there. Okay, so it's going to redo a lot of stuff because it's sort of changed to the world server config. Change, run our custom things. Yeah, okay. So now you can use Ansible templates to build out a template file and dynamically set flags and things, but I sort of don't. I don't know. I don't really like to. Do the system CTL restart again. I'm just weird like that. Let's just do that, and then I think the reason it can do that is because I've used Superman to sudo down, and it's going up the stack and seeing that. Must not have worked. That must not have gone through. Okay. It's interesting that that client stayed connected, even though I just restarted the server. Or maybe I didn't. Okay. Oh, am I connected to 28? I must be connected to .28 for when I was testing it earlier. Yeah, okay, good. 35. Thank you, change server. I think yeah, I did. I forgot to change server. I haven't actually logged in to the one I just built with thingy yet. Anyway, let's go. 35. Yeah, there's that 35. Yeah, you can see that in the title. That 35. Net start. 8085. Oh, the auth server. I haven't started the auth server. Never got around to doing that because I was too busy playing around with the world server. So now if we look at enable player. Yeah, go. It's 1 now, so that should go through. But I also wonder whether it's a .dist file, right? But all the defaults will apply, is my understanding there. God damn it. Yeah, okay. Go, go, go! Really? It's a module, so we'll need to clone it in module. It did, so my Ansible already did that and compiled it in. I'm just wondering about the .dist file though. I'm also wondering why this isn't working in terms of username and password. That is odd. So a lot of red up there. What was that? Missing property base. Oh, say. Alright, so my config is out of date with what AzerothCore, the latest version of AzerothCore, expects to see. So these things are just basically not set effectively, which is fine. Okay, the console's disabled, so that's great. I'm going to need to re-enable that. But we should be able to see the module in here, right? Yeah, I think the config changes often. It really does. Yeah, I've noticed it does. I can't remember where it tells you that it loaded temp modules. Realm ID 1. Challenge. There you go. So it's loaded. challengemodes.conf.disk using module configuration. So it is loaded, but I went and friggin' disabled the console, didn't I? Oh my gosh. No, getting my Vim commands mixed up. Woo. Alright. I can create mic by password. Okay. Oh. Maybe because I didn't create the auth, didn't start the auth server early. Maybe the commands didn't go through. Screen dash R. No, dude. I know what you mean. Again, though, I only have to do it once. But you're right. I should, while I'm deving, I should just use screen. has to be a warlock called Balls. Yeah, Balls, baby. Balls the warlock, baby. Balls, ironically, probably don't have any, given the nature of one's predicament when you're undead. Okay, I don't care about you. Alright, I want to see the hardcore mode thing. You said it's by the graveyard? Is it the rat? No, it's not, is it? Okay. So go to the graveyard and you should see a bird. See a bird stone. I can't remember where, I've got to be honest, I can't remember where the graveyard is here. Is it? It's not in here, is it, the graveyard? I can't remember where it is in Brill. It's been a long time since I played Undead. How do I just... like a bird stone. I do remember. Can't remember graveyard for Undead. No, nor can I. Oh my god. Oh, well, if I do GM on, should be able to see it actually. Is it down here? Oh wow, I don't think I've ever noticed that building before. Who are you? I've never noticed that building before. What's in there? What the? I don't think I've ever noticed that building in... Huh. Maybe, I think I stopped playing undead characters in like BC. I think I went over to Alliance, and so maybe that's why. I am a GM, so GM fly on, modify speed, all 10. Right, there'll be a graveyard around here somewhere. We're supposed to see a big angel lady thing. It's not in there. Ah, there we go. Did you know you can press Alt and the arrow keys to repeat commands in the console? Bird stone. Is it behind, I think? Oh, there it is. That's weird. It's behind the building. Shrine of Challenge. That's an interesting choice of location. Enable, semi-enable hardcore mode. Okay. Can you disable it? Oh my god, you can't actually disable it afterward. That's good. I like that. I like that it's in-game as well, that you don't do it on the character creation screen, which would require a client change, of course. GM mode off. That's why she then disappeared. Alright, let's go get my ass kicked. Have to be level 1 to enable. I am level. Everyone starts at level 1. It will disappear if you level up. Ah, I see what you mean. Huh. That's actually really cool. I think that's actually a really good implementation of it. What the fuck? Yeah, I like that. That's a really good implementation. I don't know. I might actually add that in. It looks pretty well established, and it also looks essentially free. Like it's easy, right? The player can choose whether they want it or not. Well, it's going to take a long time for my balls to die. They're taking a good kicking though. Does look well written. It looks fairly well established. I just want to see what the afterlife looks like in hardcore mode. Now I'm wondering whether I even bother. I mean, should I stream in Discord? I actually really like the streaming in Discord, as I'm streaming to YouTube as well, and I'm getting quite a good audience there. Will the YouTube live video be available when you go offline? Yes, sir, it will. I'm actually also recording it directly to my local hard drive as well, so I'll make sure that that is available. So don't worry. Yes, it will be. I'll even slice out the bit where I went and made my wife a coffee. Oh, here we go. Okay. Sleep well, my friend. Thanks for popping by. Appreciate it. Ah, but that I can just log in. Oh, hang on. Ah, very good. So that's how they've hacked it. Limitation with client, is it? So how come they can't just change the gossip for the angel? I guess it's not gossip, is it? Because it's a dialogue that pops up. Could you could replace the angel with a different NPC, right? You'd have to replace them all, but that wouldn't be too difficult because you just do a search SQL to find all of this particular creature templates implemented within the creature table. So couldn't you actually just replace the NPC entirely? I'm pretty certain that you could. There will be a hook in AT that will set up a variable saying player can't res. Okay, so it's going to get updated in the core. Oh, get updated in the core. Sorry about that. Surely you can just check if the character died and just keep killing it if it reses. You probably can, but that wouldn't be. I think it boils down to the user experience, right? What would be a good user experience? And I think. So. Here's an idea I had, which I think was pretty cool because I like my own ideas because I'm very smart. I would love it so that when you died, depending on a mode that was set, I reckon you could have it so that you stayed in the dead realm, and then it'd be limited, but then there were quests in the afterlife, and then you had to complete the quest or do challenges to then res again. I thought that might be an interesting way of looking at death as a different realm, that if you die, you go to it. I like the music. That's all. Change proposed as PR changes. Core, units, players, creatures. Issues addressed? None. Oh, closes. Okay, source. Shouldn't be valid. Live research. Test performed. How to test. Right, but here's the question. When was this done? How long? 4 days ago? Okay. That sounds fun. There's a quest that uses death already. Is there really? A quest in the game, in the natural world? In the natural built-in client? Sorry. Within Wrath of the Lich King, there is a Blizzard-built quest that uses death? My god, that took me quite a while to get that out the door, didn't it? Files chat. I want to see the files that were changed. Yeah, let me look up the quest. Yeah, cheers, mate. Northern Grizzly Hills. Really? That sounds cool. What do you have to do? Play the CPP. If not script, can player resurrect this? Return. Okay. Player script CPP. Bull can player. Okay, so adds a can player resurrect method to the player, to the script manager. Call enable boolean hooks. Okay. Player resurrect. Virtual bull can player resurrect player return true. Script manager.h. Wow, that's like really simple as well. Holy shit. Player hook can resurrect. That looks really simple. Wouldn't that just be allowing you to effectively set a flag in the config? So it's a flag on the player. Oh. Meet at the grave. Whoa. Go to the graveyard outside Gajazan and use the Verdere elixir. Follow the rest of the Nova's instructions to find whatever that says. Link in the temple sort of description. Yeah, okay. See you on, there's another one. See you on the other side. Kraz at Hardcore's camp wants you to see the deck of Mount on the Kongs outside. Right, okay. So you effectively have to die. You die. Wow. Technically, it's just that you're dead. You can still use any skills or abilities as if you're alive. I got on my mount to try it out. Man, that was fun. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you were dead, I would actually disable mounts, because how would you mount? Your mount would have to be dead as well. I mean, I guess it could have died with you, but yeah, I thought that would be quite cool, having the ability to be like almost like you have to kill yourself and go in the Shadow Realm to do certain things. Especially like if you had, even if like you could even do something simple, like you could have creatures, NPCs that were only alive in the Shadow Realm that spawn. They're quite rare, but they spawn around graveyards, and then they can drop like some rare ingredient, like rare things that are used in higher level endgame recipes for like elixirs and jewel crafting and things and enchanting. And it adds open a sort of like a doorway where you can go, I'm going to go and die and go to this graveyard with the off chance that there's a thingy there, and then I've got to fight it, but then I get a good chunk of some sort of resource from that creature in order to then make something. And then you resurrect, but then there's a sacrifice you got to make, because then you might lose. Especially if you use challenge mode and you've got like semi-hardcore mode enabled. Now here's the question though: you killed that character, right? But does it let you? It does, right? It's not banned your entire account. Okay, just the character. Okay, cool. That would be so funny if there was a bug in it and it just banned the entire account. It's like, no, death to the account. You have to go to the GM and get a whole new account. It's per character, yeah, which is why it's the player settings mod, right? So that it can configure per player, per character settings and the DB and stuff. It makes sense. So I've got a question for you, for the people listening, and especially you in the chat. There's only like two or three of you in the chat, I think. I don't know. I can't really actually tell, which is fine. What would you say to me hosting and making one of these servers public? So as I'm making my changes, make it public, and then just basically running events on the servers and stuff, like fun things that we could do. How would that sound? I'd be happy. So I'm going to stream every Sunday, and that's ideally based around the idea of working on SoloCraft and blah blah blah. Today I just wanted to talk about compilation of AzerothCore, introduce it, and blah blah blah. If it doesn't get you in trouble, I know that's the only issue, isn't it? Is like, would it get me in trouble? But I don't know. I don't think it would. I think it'd be okay. I think I could work it out. I wouldn't run it 24/7. I think you could run it during streams. Does that make sense? How does that sound? Like during the stream, I have a server up and running that you can connect to, and then you can then play on it. And I don't delete everything. Like it's available, but you can only play during the stream. Oh, I like that. You can only play during the stream. Bam. I like that. Yeah, okay, I'll have a think about that. I'd probably just run it on a cloud box, to be honest with you, if I was going to do that. Probably just run it in like DigitalOcean or something. Terraform up, and then just Terraform down it, and then keep the managed MySQL database running for like $5 a month. I could run it from my home because I've got a static IP, and I've got 250 megabit up, so I could run it from home. I'll have a think about that. I think that would be quite a cool project. I could run it on a server in the garage, so it wouldn't be on my internal network, it would be on a separate external network. Then all I've got to do is port forward, right, which I've already done in the past experimentally, and it works. Turn it on during the live streams, everyone can log into their account. Oh no, then I'd need to use screen so that I can manipulate. Oh, bloody hell, Blinky strikes again with this bloody screen. I'll use Tmux. I'll join the Tmux crowd. But then, oh no, if I do that though, Blinky will just keep screen dash-Ring me all the time. That's a good. This stream is mainly about just sort of like being like, hey, let's set it up and look what it looks like. Sort of draw attention, could draw attention. It should be okay, to be honest with you, Amber. I appreciate what you're trying to say. I really appreciate you looking out for me. You'd be surprised at the amount of private server stuff that people put on YouTube, because really it's not YouTube's job to sort of chase that down. It's more Microsoft to chase it down. But I don't know. I don't think it should be that much of an issue. Give it a try and let it crash. T-Mux. Wow, this guy hates T-Mux. He really hates T-Mux. T-Mux sucks, baby. Well, I thought that was really, really cool. We can go and see the bird up here, actually, because I think this is the graveyard here. There it is, there. Shrine of Challenge. Okay, let's have a look. Keep it on Discord. Yeah, public. I think it'll be okay. AC doesn't like it. Yeah, you know what I found as well? I tried to run AzerothCore inside of the... I was thinking about this for running it on Windows. Inside of the Windows subsystem for Linux. Works, but it works, but it doesn't work. Hardcore mode, semi-hardcore mode, self-crafted mode, low quality mode, slow XP mode, very slow EXP, quest XP only mode, oh my god, and then Iron Man mode. That is just mental. A quest experience mode only. I haven't put much cycles into finding out why. Say for me, I didn't bother with regards to the why the Windows subsystem for Linux crashed, because I think I think it's just an underlying VM, Hyper-V VM, and I couldn't really be bothered to work out why. I should do really, because it could be a way of running, but XP quest only would be cool for your AI quest idea. Yeah, it could be. How well? I think ChatGPT is actually sucks. I want to try it first, yeah? Hey, come on. What the f... Alright. Jesus. Oh, look at it later. No, I was thinking that you can increase research. Yeah, you can. Just popped in to say that there is a Molten Core attunement quest that can only be accepted while dead. Wow, make it double. That's a cool one. That's so cool. Attunement quest that can only be accepted while dead. Nice. I can draw some inspiration from that. Thank you. Yeah, that's good thinking. If there's pre-existing ones like that quest thing. Oh, I really love this undead. I really love this dead thing. Need to head out, being fun. Thanks, Ember. Thank you so much for being involved in the stream. If you're around next week, I will be. Same time, Sunday. I'll put a recurring... In fact, it is a recurring event in the Discord, so... I'd need to have for the dynamic quests, the LLM would have to be really good at staying consistent, because the Chromicraft's really good. Ooh, I just farted. I don't know if you heard that. I wonder whether an LLM would actually be capable of consistently producing quest stories that actually made sense and were just stupid. I don't know. I don't know. I think with the right prompt you can be okay. I think I can get it, but the problem is I've got to get it to be very, very consistent and accurate. Either with the SQL, if I get it to just push the direct SQL out, or if I get it to use my YAML tool, Daisy, then it would need to be capable of pushing out the right YAML, which then gets passed through Daisy, and Daisy produces the SQL. The SQL can then be put on disk somewhere, and then some sort of nightly process can then take that, put it into the database, and then reboot on a nightly basis, which would then give you things, yeah. Yeah, the story as well, it might hallucinate. Yeah, it's true. Galatax, thank you so much, man. Thank you for joining me. 1:30. God, are you in the UK or something? Or India, maybe? 1:30. Yeah, it's pretty late because we're still in the PM in the US. Chechnya. Okay, Chechnya. Oh, that the Czech Republic? Chechnya? No, it's not the Czech Republic, is it? No, that's a different country, isn't it? Make it double. 1:30 there as well. Chechnya. Yeah, Czech Republic. Okay, cool. That's where my company is mainly based out of. Czech Republic. That's where the CEO and the CTO are. Yeah, the AI thing could work. Good night, guys, if you're heading to bed. I know it's quite late. I really appreciate you coming along. Thank you so much. Again, I will be here at the same time next week. I can't really do earlier because I start the stream at 7 AM. I mean, I can. If there's enough demand for it, I'm happy to start maybe 6, which makes it a bit more accessible to Europe. Maybe not Eastern Europe, you'd still probably be quite late. But I think it might be a 7 till 10 thing. I've gone over a little bit today by half an hour, but I am going to head off myself soon because I need to go and get some breakfast. But yeah, the AI thing. So I need it to be very. I wonder if I run my own DeepSeek R1, because I've got a, mind you, you need that GPU. It would need constant access to my GPU, so that's to run on my desktop. God damn. OpenAI could probably do it. The only thing it's the hallucinating thing and also not being consistent. Because wouldn't it have to be aware of, like, if you wanted to continue, you create a RAG with many examples of quests R18, it would be okay. What about if you wanted to continuously progress a quest? So like stage 1 today, and then generally want to get it to create the second one tomorrow. That would be cool. Oh, imagine if it could go into if it went into the player and character DBs, I was actually capable of seeing where the player was and what they had in their inventory and stuff, and could then use that as well. I'm running DeepSeek via Aloma currently on. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I ran it via. I did the exact same thing on a 7900 XTX, and yeah, it runs really quick. Might be hard to continue because it will likely hallucinate, but at the very least 3 to 4 quest chains. Is that what I've got to kill? Yeah. Right. So I don't know. It's an interesting one. Go away. Context windows, yeah. I mean, don't get wrong. I can run on a 1700 XTX. I could run a 32B model, which has got quite a big context. So I think. I reckon there's other things I can focus on for now, like the better starting zone stuff. But I'm very intrigued by how to do it. But I wish you could have a Cardinal-like system for game storage, just like Sword Art Online. What's Sword Art Online? Sounds cool. But yeah. Alright, that might be something I have to investigate another time. I'll also investigate and have a think about the server, running a server as well. I should be able to do it. Do you guys use Tailscale? Ha! We could use Tailscale to make it so that it's not actually a public server. You have to be on a Tailscale. If you have Tailscale, then I can share the machine with your account, and then You have to be on the private internal network in order to then connect. Never tried. It's basically zero trust networking. So you install Tailscale, you create an account, you bring it up on your system, super easy to install, you connect, and then I share one machine with your account, which would be the VM here, and then you could connect to the ports, and then you would just use DNS to just update your realm list file and you'd be done. I don't like creating accounts and stuff. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's fair. Alright, I'm gonna go because I'm very, very hungry. Not had any breakfast. I'll try and have breakfast next time. Well, this has been amazing fun. I really love the engagement that I got today. So thank you very much to everyone who came along, especially Blinky, Make It Double, Ember, who's not here anymore. Galatax is probably gone. Thank you so much. Really, really, really appreciate it. I hope you had fun. I hope it was good for you. Just as it was for me. And I will be back next Sunday. And I will work on getting the audio. Yeah, I guess because it's just looking at my webcam, it's not taking audio from the webcam. So I might have to see if OBS can create like a virtual screen or something. I don't know. I'll work it out. All the best. Bye bye. Have fun. Take it easy.